Test, test, test. Test, test, test. 1, 2. Good afternoon, football fans, and welcome to the real Tiger Nation here in Stewartville. This is Schaefer Field, the host for tonight's Section 1 3A semifinal game between the number 4 seed Lake City Tigers and the number 1 seed defending state champion Stewartville Tigers. You see them throwing their hands up in the air. They're excited. They're ready to go. The last time they will be on Schaefer Field in 2024, and this will be the last time we are in the Dan Simmons broadcast booth. I am Adam Peterson, and alongside me, the best color guy in the business, Aaron Meyer. Coach, how excited are you one more time here? A beautiful day for football.
Yeah, it's awesome out. It's the perfect temperature. The sun's shining. It was about 2 months ago, end of August, that I was sneaking in here to watch our scrimmage against the John Marshall Rockets, and to think that it's already section semifinals is kind of crazy to me. But that's how the football season goes. It kind of flies by.
And here are the two teams. We'll tell you about them right now. Lake City coming in off a 35-13 win over La Crescent Lancers last week. La Crescent ran the opening kickoff back for a touchdown, but then Lake City scored 35 unanswered points. They led 21-7 at halftime. Lake City accumulated 244 yards on the ground. They outgained the Lancers 411-168. Coulter Heggie, their quarterback, 10 of 18, 167 yards, 1 touchdown. He also had 12 carries, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception on defense. Asher B had a 28-yard touchdown run. For Stewartville, they only played a quarter and a half, and they beat Red Wing 57-6 was the final score there. All sorts of guys getting involved. Probably none more fun than Lincoln Doobie getting in the end zone, but the Tiger offense is firing on all cylinders. When you talk about our quarterback, Vince Wellick, the last 4 regular season games, 54 of 59 for 982 yards and 13 touchdowns. This kid has been fantastic. We got Parker Wangen, we got Jace Klug, we got the two-headed monster in Malik Abdi and Dylan Scanlon, and we got what I consider the best big cats, the front line in the entire district, in the entire section, and they are going to be ready to go here at 1 p.m., Coach. And it looks like we are going to get the ball and see Vince Wellick and the offense come out right away.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think the offenses are going to shine today, and obviously that Gold Rush defense is going to be a little perturbed that they gave up any points last week to Red Wing, so we'll see how that goes. But Lake City looked pretty good moving the ball against La Crescent, so it should be a fun one.
Ethan Brunkow is going to kick it off for Lake City. They got 4 on the near side, 6 on the far side. He's going to try to squib that one. It's going to be picked up by Parker Wangen. No, he's going to let it go out of bounds, and I can almost guarantee you Coach May says, kick it again. He does. He's already pointing. Kick it again. They always talk about you don't get many opportunities for our kickoff returns. When you have a defense as outstanding as ours, only allowing, 4 touchdowns on the entire season, that means 4 of those plus the 8 that you are guaranteed, or 9, I guess, with last week's game, or the earlier this week's game.
Yep.
13 kickoff returns is all.
That's crazy. So. And Stewartville has always considered this. We're better than you in this particular play. Just kind of this is an advantage. We have a very good kickoff return, so why not try to let them run it again here?
So Brunkow will move back 5 yards and kick it again. Back deep, Scanlon and Wangen. Unfortunately, Dylan Hoot, who has been an incredible return man, is going to be out for the rest of the year, unfortunately. He suffered an injury. Was it earlier this week or last week?
I was in practice, I think, on Monday, the night before the Red Wing game.
So you will see number 17 on the sideline. Huge losses. He was an outstanding safety for us, had a couple interceptions, one against this Lake City team that he returned for a touchdown. This one is going to be fielded by Parker Young, and he's going to cut it to the outside and get to the 40-yard line of Stewartville. Not much room, so good job by Lake City. I think bouncing it on the ground like that gives their coverage team an opportunity to get downfield. It also doesn't allow Stewartville to set up as well as they usually like.
Yeah, it just adds a little bit of, just takes away kind of some of the predictability of what you can do with your kickoff return. So probably a pretty good strategy. And La Crescent took the opening kickoff back last week, so it looks like a good strategy against the Tigers here.
So here's Vince Wellick in the backfield. Dylan Scanlon just moved out. Wellick is going to throw one to Wangen. Wangen's going to launch one deep. Wide open is Mickey Height. And are you kidding me? First play of the game. It takes 11 seconds. And Stewartville goes 60 yards and puts one in the touchdown. Mickey, the highlight, Height with another one.
The old double pass to start the game. Just a great play off the bat. Wellick throws the ball backwards to Wangen, and Wangen fires deep. What a way to start the game.
What a great play call there and designed by Coach Muller. Height came out and was completely open. I mean, I don't know if the nearest defender was closer to me or Mickey Height. That's how open he was. Here you see, look at Stewartville. They got 5 guys on the front line, almost like a regular set. Parker Wangen in the backfield. He's going to just throw a quick one out to Peyton English. Good block. Enough is put on as Quinn Potts seals the edge. Peyton English gets into the end zone and another 2 points. We aren't chasing points. We're putting them on the board, Coach. 11:47 to go in the first quarter, and it's Stewartville 8-0 after just 1 play.
Yeah, that scoreboard has been lighting up like crazy when you factor in the Red Wing first quarter. The Red Wing game first quarter, and then this first play of the game. So,
yeah, you talk about that Red Wing game. Stewartville scored 44 points in that first quarter. It was incredible. They are outscoring teams 367-19. I believe that's actually from the regular season. I don't know if I updated that. 154 first downs to 64. 383 yards a game for this offense that you saw. 226 on the ground, 157 passing. Now you're going to see their defense. For as good as this offense has been, and you're talking about an offense that's averaging 47 points a game, our defense is so Parker Wangen, who's going to be the busiest Tiger on the field today, is going to kick it off for us. And he kicks it deep, end over end. Braxton Berlin is the one that's going to field that one at his own 5-yard line. He gets to the edge. Good return there by Berlin. He goes out around the 26-yard line, we'll say. Slim Elton right over there on cue, puts it right down. I saw him as I was walking in. He said, make sure to give the chain gang a shout out. So definitely want to thank those guys for all their work. I'm sure they hear quite a bit of, off-topic conversation standing on the opposing team's sideline.
I always like to ask Slim, which coaching staffs were, most on top of things when he was on the opposing sideline. So that was always kind of an interesting conversation.
So in the backfield, it's going to be Coulter Heggie. Next to him, Asher B. Heggie's going to drop back to pass. He's going to throw that one, but that one's swatted down by Lincoln Doobie. Looks just like his sister Matilda. I believe she had 3 blocks against, who did we play? We played Faribault in the opening round. I believe Matilda Doobie had 3 blocks that night. Our volleyball team, 24-4. We'll talk about them more at halftime, but there's Lincoln stepping up, first play of the game, making his presence known. Our defensive line is a huge strength for our linebackers are great defensive backs, but our line, you're talking about Grayson Schneider, Division I, Montana State, Ridge Hats, 280 pounds, doing phenomenal. Lincoln Doobie, the motor's running, and then Caleb Bancroft on the far end, Minnesota Duluth. Heggie's going to roll out to his left, trying to buy some time, and here comes Grayson Schneider. He slows him up, and Lincoln Doobie absolutely hammers him. Peyton English picks up the fumble. He's looking to score. He does. Are you kidding me? What a play. First, Grayson Schneider slows him down, then Lincoln Doobie absolutely throttles him, and then you had Peyton English at the perfect time picking that ball up. It's all called the old scoop and score, Coach.
That was it, the scoop and score. Tremendous job to get that ball free, pursuing the quarterback. Just another big play to start this game for the Stewartville Tigers.
You know, Peyton English is going to go home tonight and say, after the first 3 plays of the game, I had more points scored in this game than Parker Wangen, because he had the touchdown there, the 2-point conversion. That's 8. Wangen only has 6.
There you go.
Take that. Here we go. Parker Wangen. You got, I believe, Zeke Spencer at center. I'm assuming they're going to come back. They're just reading how Lake City's setting up. Klug goes in motion. The snap to Wangen. Oh, Klug looked like he fell down. He throws to Grayson Schneider. What in the world was that? Throws it over his head. That didn't look like it was starting out good at all when Klug slipped.
I have a hunch that Coach tells the guys, if you're going to get tackled short, throw it up there and put it in and try to just put it into the end zone, knowing that it's a dead play as soon as it's scooped up by the other team. So
35 seconds into this game, Stewartville leads 14-0 on the back of an incredible double pass from Wellick to Wangen to Height for the first score of the game from 60 yards out. And there you saw the defensive line that we were just raving about. Grayson Schneider slows him up. Lincoln Doobie comes around, knocks the ball out, and Peyton English in the perfect spot to be, take advantage.
And that's 3 amazingly good football players right there, all working together to make a big play. So props to the Gold Rush defense here, getting on the board early themselves.
Wangen's going to go back out, and our defense has got to be feeling good after that. You bring the energy. This team already is a high-energy type of program. You see it at practice. They're always very loud, very energetic. To have a start to this game like they've just done, That's dangerous for Lake City. But I heard a really smart two-time section champion head football coach tell me in this booth, sometimes you just got to chop wood, carry water.
Yep.
One first down at a time, one play at a time. You can't get all 14 points back in one play, so just put some things together.
That's all you can do.
So Wangen's going to tee this one up. And he hits a little blooper. Great job by number 79, though, to catch it. I think we're going to get an offside. But I would assume Lake City is going to decline that. Landon Olson, great job on the far side here. I'm sure the Lake City announcer is not happy with that onside kick up 14-0.
Well, I think if you go back into the history of these two teams playing, you'll see a lot of onside kicks from the Stewartville Tigers, and a lot of it has to do with the setup that the Lake City Tigers use. There's 4 guys up front, as you notice, and then everybody else is back. So, again, the numbers game is a lot of times what Stewartville's looking at. And the numbers game say you got a pretty good shot at getting a onside kick. Actually, they did move a 5th guy up there, so that's a little change.
So how about this? Last night I was at that Lacrosse Logan game. Same exact kick that Parker Wangen just did, the Logan kicker did, except he got it a little bit higher. The guy where 79 was signals for a fair catch. The Logan player on the kickoff coverage team is sprinting so fast that he actually jumps in front of the player and gets to the ball, never touching. And so nobody knew what the rule was.
Sure.
I actually texted Alan May, like, what's the rule? I thought fair catch just means nobody's going to smoke you, but
Right.
does that give you the right to catch that ball? Is it yours?
Sure.
And it sounds like after talking to a few people that, yes, you do have to allow an opportunity to catch the ball.
Okay.
As Aaron Lou's going to field this one, and he slips. I wonder if there's something going on inside the red zone over there, because we saw Jace Klug slip. We only got the one heavy rain.
Yeah.
What was that, Thursday night?
Thursday night it
I would
did,
have thought it would have dried by now.
but where you were, it was probably raining. Here it hailed and poured like you would not believe, to the point where there were puddles in the school parking lot.
Oh, no
in the morning.
kidding.
Yeah, it was.
And I guess with it
Pretty intense.
freezing and stuff like that overnight, that
Maybe.
maybe a little bit slick. We'll see if it dries up as the game goes on. Heggie's going to be in the backfield. He's got he's got Asher B next to him. On the near side is Josh Wohlers. On the far side, coming in motion, is Aaron Lou. He's going to take the handoff on the jet sweep. Caleb Bancroft does a good job setting the edge, and Zeke Spencer coming in. They're trying to say he ripped the ball out when he tackled him, but the refs are not buying that. They said, no, Stewartville, not 2 times in a row. We're not going to give it to you.
I giggle because of the pointing. The pointers always, it's such a contagious thing. As once one guy points, you'll probably find 9 or 10 more that are joining in there.
And so now we got 2nd down and 6 after Lou picks up those 4 or 5 yards. I mean, the down marker over there looks like it's 2nd and 4, not 2nd and 6. So 10:42 to go in the first quarter. Stewartville up 14-0 already. Heggie's going to pass this one to the middle. Great catch there by Luke Narum, a guy that I believe used to be quarterback, and now they've switched him to wide receiver. And if I'm not mistaken, Dad Trevor Narum, head coach for the Lake City program.
Yeah, good guy. Trevor Narum has been running the program for years and years, and putting out some pretty good squads here. His son looks pretty darn athletic. Scored a nice little touchdown against the Crescent on the 2nd drive of the game, I think, against the Crescent.
So Heggie's going to bring him in with the new set of downs. B to his left. You got Berlin and Lou on the near side. On the far side is Narum. They have a big front line, does Lake City. Heggie takes the snap. He hands that one off. Grayson Schneider's coming from the backside, and you're not going to get away from him or the other 3 or 4 Stewartville Tigers that came on. Grayson Schneider just went upfield to set his edge, and then, like you've talked about so much, just went parallel to the line of scrimmage as he chased down Asher B.
Yeah, and with his speed, you mentioned, you're just not going to outrun him, so it's just a matter of time before he's going to catch up to you. Yeah, Grayson Schneider's had a great season. Sometimes he kind of goes, I don't want to say unnoticed, because he's never unnoticed, but I think maybe the stats aren't quite as sparkly as they even could be. If he was getting to play more quarters, and if teams were running at him more, he might even be putting up even better numbers.
2 wide to the near side, 1 to the far side. I believe that's Wohlers on the far side. Heggie sends Lou in motion. He hands it off on the jet sweep, essentially the opposite play that gave him 5 yards on the first carry of this drive. And Stewartville is going to stop him right probably at the line of scrimmage. You talk about Grayson Schneider. Like we said, Montana State commit. Last year, 82 tackles, 15 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, a punt block that he returned for a touchdown. This year, like you have mentioned, they are not running at him as much. Doesn't play the second half in almost every game of the season. 29 tackles. That last tackle that he had makes it 12 tackles for loss on the season, which leads the team. He also has 5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. Here's third down and 12 for Lake City. 3 wide receivers. Heggie's going to drop back. He's going to look to the middle of the field. They gave him a little cushion, knowing where the sticks is. Jace Klug was able to take down Luke Narum there, but only after about a 10-yard gain, so it's going to be 4th down and 3. We'll see what Lake City decides to do. Down 2 touchdowns already. Do you go for this deep in your territory? It looks like Coach Narum is going to do it.
Yeah, I think you have to. I just figure you got to roll the dice a little bit against the Stewartville Tigers, and 4th and 3 is a spot where you can run about any play you want. And I just, on the flip side of that, if you punt it, let's say you punt it down 30 yards, there's a pretty good chance Stewartville's going to be able to pick up those 30 yards in no time. So I'd keep the ball and go for it here.
I think you're right. You're going to have to take some risks, and this seems to be like a logical one as Heggie's going to take the snap. He's going to try to throw this one, a quick slant, and Zeke gets over there right in front of Narum. Zeke read that slant perfectly, and it's going to be a turnover on downs as the yes chant for Coach Hain starts. The defense allows 1 first down, but then shuts the door, slams it on 4th and 3. Great job by Spencer to get out there in that slant path.
And those quick little inward breaking routes were working, early on here, and so they went back to it. And a good adjustment by Zeke to get his paw on the ball.
Thanks to everybody tuning in to this Section 1 3A semifinal game. Stewartville, Lake City. Stewartville up 14-0, 7:46 to go in the first quarter. Back on the field, the Stewartville offense. For only the second time, because the last time we scored, it was the defense that did it. Hand off to Malik Abdi off the right side. Great block by Doobie. Look at Mickey Height just pushing people around. And Abdi gets all the way down to the 25-yard line. Hannah Loftus, Lise Campbell, thank you so much. 2 cross-country runners. We'll talk about them at halftime and how they did at the section championships. Both teams running really well. Can't wait to bring you some of that.
We get spoiled up here.
Yeah, we do. Down under, the Loftus is bringing us pizza one day. Now the concession stand from cross country bringing us popcorn. We got Rice Krispie treats from the Klug family. We got trips to the left. Wellick and Abdi in the backfield. Our tight end is going to be Caleb Bancroft on the near side. The trips package is getting a little bit tighter to the edge. And here they come on a counter play, and there's Malik Abdi. He's going to cut in and out and bowl his way down to the 17-yard line for a pickup of about 8. Malik Abdi, so patient as a runner. Just love to see that. Follow your blockers.
Oh, and I love to see the pulling linemen. It's just probably my favorite play that the Tigers are so good at is the counter. And watching the first guy come through will kick out whoever's the last man on the line of scrimmage, and then the second guy coming through, he just busts up through the hole like a lead blocker and usually takes on a linebacker. It's just such a great play that Stewartville has executed well for years.
Here comes Wong, and on the sweep, we got all 4 wide receivers to the far side. He throws it to Wong, and Wong makes a great catch. I think this one's going to be coming back, though, because a flag is on the field. I'm surprised because when it was a one-step drop pass.
Yeah.
So they must have called a hold closer to the goal line. Obviously, you're going to accept the one that's further back because it's from the spot of the foul, and somebody's testing the durability in the rafters above us. And we'll reset this play. That shouldn't be the spot of the...
Well, if it was 10 yards from the hold, I don't know why that would be the spot.
Yeah, because our line didn't move that far, did they? Who knows?
They could.
Well, either way, it's second down and 3. Yeah, they could. In a blink of an eye, they could be 10 yards down the field. So we got second down and 13, 6:49 to go in the first quarter. Wellick in the backfield, Malik Abdi on the near side. He's going to come in motion. They're going to jet sweep to Abdi, and here comes Lincoln Doobie pulling, and there's Abdi trying to follow his blockers, but great job by Lake City running that one down, and Abdi picks up about 3. It's going to be 3rd down and 11, but as we know with Coach Muller's offense, this is easily 4-down territory. So each run he puts together, sometimes it's just a matter of wanting to get the field side to our sideline.
Sure.
Sometimes he just likes to be on that hash for the next play.
Yeah, and who knows? He could be still. I'm not sure if Coach Muller still scripts his first 10 or 15 plays, but he still might be just kind of on his script at this point. And a lot of times when you're scripting plays, you want to see what teams are going to do against different looks. So what are they doing against the jet? Well, the next time we run jet, if they do the same thing, we'll burn them with this. And so he might be just scheming here for the next drive even.
Klug on the far side. Wellick's going to drop back to pass. He's going to step up in the pocket. He's shown an ability to run the ball. There he just does a good job of hanging on to it because he had a couple guys, and a flag is dropped right where Wellick was tackled. I wonder if somebody got a face mask on that as he was going down.
Well, good coverage downfield by Lake City. Give him credit. The back end was all over our wide receivers there.
Yeah, their defensive backs playing really well. You got, let me pull up, because some of these guys aren't on the roster they gave us. It's much shorter. Alex Ratz, I believe, is at the safety position number 1.
Targeting.
Automatic first down.
Yep. That's a big one against Lake City. After 2 great defensive plays, to have a targeting penalty that one hurts.
So Rats there in the backfield. You got number 5, Aaron Liu. A lot of these guys pulling double duty, just being fantastic athletes. Asher B is back there. 18, Josh Wohlers. There's a name that you've heard before for Lake City. I mean, when you talk about Justin Wohlers, I believe he's the number 2 in all-time passing records for our district, the Southeast Red Division. He had 1,526 yards in 2021. Fantastic basketball players. He and I believe Jake was the other one, I want to say.
I think you're right. Yeah,
Justin
right.
and I thought it was Jake because this one is Josh. Very good athletes for the Lake City programs, not only football, but basketball as well. And now Stewartville will get a new set of downs after that penalty on Lake City. Height and Abdi in the backfield with Wellick. Klug and Wangen closer to the camera here. Wellick is going to fake the handoff. He's going to throw a quick hitch there to Jace Klug. Klug trying to break out of a tackle, and he gets to the 5-yard line. Klug, a guy that has shown he can be electric with the ball in his hands. Even if he catches it behind the line of scrimmage, like on those middle screens, he's shown the propensity to be able to break 50, 60-yard electric touchdown runs.
Yeah, a lot of times I like to just kind of think about if you didn't have Parker Wangen available, you could probably do a lot of the same exact things with Jace Klug, and he could be putting up crazy numbers just like Wangen does.
Absolutely. Just an electric athlete,
For
Jace
sure.
Klug, and an even better baseball player,
Yeah.
which Coach Schmitz is happy about. They're going to swing Abdi out to the left, tight trips left, Abdi to the far side, Wangen on the near side. Wellick is going to take the snap. He's going to just throw that one up to Parker Wangen, and if he's going to drop these things in a bucket, we're going to change this from Tiger Nation to Vinny City, baby, as Vince Wellick has been unbelievable these past 5 or 6 weeks, and Wangen has been a beneficiary of that.
Yeah, Wellick's confidence is growing week by week, and that is trouble for anybody playing the Stewartville Tigers going forward because he knows we know he's got the weapons, and when he's putting passes out there like that, it's going to be just real tough to stop.
I remember it against, I believe it was Pine Island. We were throwing some passes like that, and they were just a little bit off, a little bit overthrown. And boy, he's really just dialed that in. We saw one on against Red Wing. It was in this left side end zone to Jace Klug in the corner. We've seen it before, and there he puts it on the money to Parker Wangen. Great route by Wangen as well to create that separation. And here's Parker to kick the extra point, and he puts that one through as Stewartville leads this 21-0 with 4:43 to go in the first quarter. Adam Peterson, Aaron Meyer up here in the Dan Simmons broadcast booth, bringing you this Section 1 3A semifinal game, Coach. And boy, the first half of the first quarter couldn't be going better if you're a Stewartville fan.
Yeah, they got to be feeling good about the offense, good about the defense. Even the special teams has been on point at this point, so things going the Stewartville Tigers' way.
So now Wangen has thrown a pass for a touchdown. Now he's caught one. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a rushing one. He's known to come on that jet sweep sometimes, and with all those big blockers and the pulling guards, We might see him get in the end zone another time tonight. I wouldn't bet against it, that's for sure.
I wouldn't either. Nope.
Parker Wong, and you're talking about a guy, when you look at he has 18 total touchdowns coming into this game, 24 extra points, 5 two-point conversions, 4 field goals, 154 points, which is like 60 more than the next closest guy in the district.
Yeah, well, he does it all, and
we've run out of superlatives for him, Coach.
We
need a speech teacher up here.
It would be one thing if he was just kind of a jerk as well, but he's just the nicest human being as well. So the kid does it all, does it very well, carries himself with class, and fun guy to be around.
So we'll see Lake City's offense come out again and try to put something together. They did get that first down, and they got to the 4th down, but Stewartville stopped them on 4th and 3. Back deep is going to be Berlin and Lou. That one's going to be fielded by Berlin just at about his 5-yard line. He's going to take it to the edge. And I believe that's Peyton English on the tackle, but give Luke Eastman all sorts of credit. Number 12, he was making sure to stay in his lane. And that's the thing with this Stewartville team. They talk about don't play hero ball. Yep. Don't just chase the football looking for your own stats. Do your job, and the whole team will be successful. And you saw it there. Luke Eastman set his edge, make sure he can't get around the outside. Peyton English, let him come and finish it off.
And the best part about that is if you do your job, a lot of times someone else does his job, and then the ball spills to you, and then you get to make the play. So if everybody's in lockstep with that idea, things can be pretty darn strong.
And I think you made a point of this earlier with Grayson Schneider's stats. Maybe not looking like last year's, but boy, has his impact on the game. First, we're going to see Heggie drop back to pass this one. He throws it out into the flat, and that one's just out of the reach of number 24, Cam Thurin. But Grayson Schneider, you may not see the stats like it was last year. However, because he's getting double-teamed, triple-teamed, you've seen Lincoln Doobie. You've seen Ridge Hats make so many tackles for loss. You've seen our linebackers move in space so freely. Zeke Spencer being able to deliver those hits. Mickey Height, Justice Dino when he's out there. So I appreciate the heck of him being on our front line, drawing so much attention. And now they've moved him and the interior line to create some havoc. Him and Carson Goodman are defensive tackles. Carson Jansen on the near side. I believe now Tommy Lofgren's on the far side. So you're seeing some twos already filter in. Heggie's going to throw the pitch out there. And what a play there by Peyton English, I believe it was. I see a 5. Yeah, it is. Peyton English. You talk about a football player. He has really grown into a solid varsity player for us.
Yeah, and as the season went on, he's getting more chances, and certainly every chance he gets, he's shining. So we saw today he's already got a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and now a couple big plays here on the defense.
It's going to be 3rd down and 13. Thanks to everybody tuning into our broadcast here on Stewartville Activities on YouTube. Appreciate you always supporting the team, supporting the broadcast, and hopefully not muting your TV station. As Heggie's in the backfield with 2 guys, B and Lou. He's going to look to throw this one, but great coverage, and now Schneider's chasing him. Look at the coverage here by Isaac Larson and Jace Klug blanketing Josh Wohlers. He had nowhere to throw that. That's almost like I don't want to say a secondary sack, but
yeah,
the coverage was just too good.
Yep.
He looked, his first read was over the middle, didn't have him.
Yep.
Tried to buy time, still good coverage.
And then again, you got to give the pass rush credit as well, because he didn't have time to just sit down there and look for a 3rd or 4th option. So again, team defense, everybody working together and making good things happen.
Yeah, you talked about that in the Red Wing game. As the Red Wing, they wanted to throw the ball, they just had no time.
Yeah.
So on his Brunkow, on his own goal line, almost gets blocked by Colin McGill, who had a block last week. Almost got one there. It goes out of bounds at the Lake City 45, and Stewartville will take over again, up 21-0, 3:34 to go in the first quarter. Do you think we'll see more of a running game here? Scanlon going out there, a guy that averages 10 yards a carry here in his senior season.
Yeah, I would imagine we'll see a little bit of a running game. I think they'll just see all the different ways that they could move the ball today.
Dylan Scanlon, 75 carries, 819 yards, 9 touchdowns for over 10 yards per carry. Also has 3 catches, 28 yards, and a touchdown. That touchdown catch, ironically, the senior night, it was a wheel route, came wide open. Coach Muller told us the seniors got to submit their own plays for the first 10 plays of the game. So those first 3 or 4 touchdowns, The Wangen little shovel pass
Yep.
on the counter off the trips, the wheel route by Scanlon, that was Scanlon's play call, so making coach look good. But he said that's what they're doing. They're creating smart football players. Dylan Scanlon's going to bounce off to the left side. He comes back middle, and now he's gone. Are you kidding? I said we're going to see him running the ball. And Scanlon says, you know what? I'm going to better that 10 yards of carry and just go all 45 on one carry.
Yeah, and once again, you predicted it. You've been pretty darn good at that ever since I've been up in the booth with you. So, again, good call. Way to go.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day there, Coach. A 45-yard touchdown run by Dylan Scanlon as we see the Scanlon family standing up at their reserve spots. Always in the same spots these families
That's
are.
right.
I don't know if it's superstition or if it's just because it's the best seat in the house, standing in front of Aaron Meyer calling this game. Snap is good, hold is good. Parker Wong, and it's close to the left side, but it does sneak in as Stewartville makes it 28-0. I would like to count the number of offensive plays we've actually ran, Coach. It's got to be less than 10.
Yeah, and with that many points on the board, that doesn't quite seem possible, but I do think you're right. It's been just a lack of resistance here from Lake City's defense in stopping anything at this point. And then when they did make a couple real nice stops, unfortunately for them, they had the targeting penalty. So, like I said, Coach Nerum, he's just got to get the boys together over there and just one play at a time, just see if they can be successful on the next one and try to get some momentum going, which is always tough in this situation, but we'll see if they can gather a little bit of momentum here.
This is starting to seem a little bit reminiscent of that Week 5 game where we traveled to Lake City. Stewartville was up 57-0 at halftime. Stewartville had 400 yards of total offense, 229 on the ground, 171 passing. They averaged 14.3 yards a carry. Lake City only 218 yards of total offense. They had 39 carries for 145 yards, 73 yards passing. When you talk about offensive plays today, Stewartville didn't have many when they were in Lake City. 31 total offensive plays for those 57 points, Coach. Lake City had double that with 62. That was the game that I thought Malik Abdi really broke out. 3 carries, 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Dylan Scanlon, 4 carries, 57 yards. Well, tonight, he's got 1 carry for 45 yards, and he took it to the house.
Yeah.
28-0, 3:25 to go in the first quarter. Parker Wangen's going to boot this one a little bit short. That's going to bounce, and Lou's going to take it. Oh, he bobbles it, and now he's got all sorts of Tigers coming after him. And Zeke Spencer, you want to get down before he comes through. Speaking of which, big happy birthday to number 10 out there. Zeke is celebrating. What do you think? 16, 17?
Yeah,
17. He's got to be 17.
I bet
He's
17.
a junior.
I bet that's the number. But
And so hopefully, Scott and family take him out to eat. I saw Ella down there. I saw Avery was here to watch him. Sam, whole family's here.
I've said it before on different broadcasts, but I always get a kick out of when I get to talk to Avery. She was one of my triple jumpers back in the day, and she was an absolute grinder. So whenever I get to just chit-chat with her, it's a good day for me.
And so we'll see Heggie under center this time. Aaron Liu in the backfield as his halfback. They're going to try to get that one right up the middle. I didn't even see a fullback. 24 was the one that carried it, Cam Theron. You talk about Avery Spencer. I can't remember if it was the state final or state semifinal game. She had probably one of the biggest and one conversions to I think it was to tie the game up or take the lead. But just if you were going to give me one basket to make in my career, if I was on that court, that's the one I would have wanted. But she was part of that state runner-up team back in 2023. Just a great senior class when you talk about Keely Steele and Haley Strom.
Yep.
Avery Spencer, Hannah Martinson hit a big 3. I know that game.
It was a fun run for sure.
Never been there before, and boy, they made sure people remembered. Great job there by Justice Dino as he waits for the cavalry to come in, and Luke Eastman comes up to deliver a pop. Luke Eastman, who's been having a fantastic last few weeks, 3 interceptions in the 2 games against Red Wing, also forced a fumble in that Week 7 matchup against the Wingers. Coming up, even though in stature, at least he may not be as tall, boy, he can deliver an impact, and you saw it right there on the sideline. He is holding his shoulder a little bit, so hopefully he's okay.
Well, he's about as tough as they come. I know last year he ended up with a injury that kept him out of most of the season, but he did get to come back and play in the very final championship game. He got on the field a few times just to be out there and get a chance to taste that state championship experience.
Heggie in the backfield with B. He's going to drop back to pass. He's got 4 wide receivers going for routes. And boy, Rich Hatz is right there to take him down. Did he get out of the end zone? They're asking for a safety, but they're going to mark that he fell forward. Ridge Hats was trying to get on that old scoreboard.
Well, I just feel a little bad sometimes for the opposing offensive line, knowing that you got such tenacious defenders coming at them play after play after play, and then you rotate some of those guys out, and here comes a second wave of, we call them twos, but really
they would
they're
start
just
for any other
younger
team.
guys is all they are. It's just crazy.
Carson Jansen, Tommy Lofgren, Carson Goodman.
Yep.
You just keep rolling them in. I would imagine Coach May is going to send the house. They don't even have anybody back to return this. Right at his own goal line. And is that McGilligan that almost got it? No, it was Sawyer Wood. And good job there by Brunkow to at least get that ball in the air. It's going to be downed at the Lake City 31-yard line. And the Stewartville offense will come back with 1:31 to go in the first quarter, up 28-0. As this Stewartville team is firing on all cylinders. Offense, defense, special teams, and we've seen all three facets play so well all year long, Coach, and you're seeing it again today. And unfortunately for Lake City fans, they came out early. First play of the game, on offense, second play on defense, both resulted in touchdowns. Wellick making sure he's getting the right play call. There's a lot going on in this sideline. I don't know how they keep it all straight. He's clarifying that he's got the right call. He does. Malik Abdi's behind Wellick. Height is in that H-back position. Klug on the far side, Wangen on the near side. There goes Height in motion towards us. Resets. Wellick is going to fake the handoff. He's going to look downfield. Jace Klug is wide open, but it's going over the top to Parker Wangen. I said he'd have another touchdown, Coach. And he got one there. Stewartville's career scoring record holder is making a run for 200 points this season.
Well, and again, we got to give credit to the offensive protection. Vince Wellick for a beautiful deep post down the middle. We can throw more flowers at Parker Wong, and it's okay. He made it.
The only difference, like I said, the only difference between me and Vince Wellick is he can't shut off his PlayStation if he throws an interception.
That's true.
I may or may not quit that game if I'm frustrated enough. The song comes on. The most played song in Tiger Nation here at Schaefer Field is that trumpet one. As Wangen is going to kick that one. Aaron Liu is going to field it again at his own 3-yard line. They're putting him about as deep as he can without a touchback. And great coverage there by Stewartville. I believe that was Nolan Light on the tackle, number 11. And it was. Big shout out to Josh Light, one of our top custodians here, always making sure the crow's nest is clean.
Yeah.
Now that I say that, I see that you spilled some popcorn, Coach.
I will clean it up. I promise, Josh. I got it.
We can't have nice things up here.
It's because you pushed me when you got too excited, and I knocked it over.
I'm just glad you didn't go out the window. Big thanks to Aaron Meyer here, pulling double duty on the camera and somehow managing to call the game. I can barely do one thing at a time as Hegge's going to drop back to pass again. They do like an inside bubble almost as 17. Braxton Berlin catches that one, and that was probably the best play Lake City has run to this point. It's going to be a first down on a 12-yard gain to Berlin. What do they call that, a tunnel screen?
Yeah, a little inside tunnel.
I said bubble, but I meant tunnel.
Yep, sometimes people call it the rocket. It just depends on what offense you're in, but the idea is the inside receiver is going to go block the outside receiver, and then the outside receiver comes underneath, catches the ball, and just kind of weaves his way inside, finding yards.
So we'll see if Lake City can stack together a couple first downs and get things moving. Hegge reading the defense. He sends Narum in motion. They jet sweep it to the far side. Fumble, ball's on the ground. We'll see who comes up with it. You see the pointing, but I don't trust anybody. They always point. The only guys that matter are the stripes. And they're going to keep it with Lake City. They may have said he was already down, or Lake City recovered. Either way, it's going to be white ball.
Well, here we go, chopping wood. Little inside tunnel, picks up a first down. A little jet sweep, picks up 4 or 5. Lake City should be feeling a little bit better now. Let's see if they can put a third swing of the axe together and chop some more wood here. Well, we're going to get a quarter break.
Yep. And that's going to be the end of the first quarter. The score, 34-0 Stewartville. And we will move into the second quarter as Lake City is starting to drive the ball down the field. We'll see if the Stewartville can hold up. Aaron Meyer and I will step aside for just a minute. We'll be back with second quarter action here at Schaefer Field in the Real Tiger Nation. Going to be getting underway to second quarter action. You talked about Coach Narum and the quality he's brought. I talked about Justin Wohlers, some other guys. Nate Heisey was a quarterback, threw for over 1,000 yards in 2008. I believe he was their quarterback last year or the year before. Justin Wohlers, not only 1,500 yards passing, he had 19 touchdowns. Some other guys that we look at, Parker Sherhammer, I think he was from Lake City, if I'm not mistaken. Keegan Ryan was the outstanding wide receiver. I think he went to North Dakota, if I'm not mistaken. Carson Matsky, Matt DeMar is back from the day, kind of trying to go back. Reed Gassner, him and Heisey were kind of that two-headed monster for Lake City on football and basketball. And holy cats, that looked like a Lincoln Doobie tackle, but I'll get you who it was in just a second. Justice Dino. Just the way that he wrapped him up. Yeah. A lot of times when I see Lincoln Doobie throw somebody to the ground, it's like a wrap up, a spin, and a toss. And so that's why I thought it was Doobie, but Doobie's not even in there. He's getting a little bit of a break. Justice Dino, kind of the quarterback for this defense. He's the one getting the play call, making sure everybody's aligned. Talk about another guy that maybe stats don't tell the full story.
Yeah.
Getting your guys in the right alignment, making sure everybody's in the right position on the same page is just as important on defense as it is offense. As Hagee's going to take this with 3rd down and 5. He's going to pass this one. Going to try to throw it to the middle. He does. Oh, my God, what a hit by Isaac Larson! That reminds me of Alex Larson against Faribault about 3 years ago. Hopefully Wohlers is okay because Larson just absolutely laid the hammer on 18. Good to see him get up. And I think that's what the Stewartville crowd is clapping for. They were clapping for the play first and then clapping that Wohlers got up on his own. Clean hit, though.
Yeah.
Right to the center mass body.
Two tough kids.
Knocked the ball loose.
Larson's a tough kid. We know that. And Wohlers getting up after that and just clapping his hands. Props to him for
Wohlers,
being
6'4", 180 pounds, great athlete.
I was thinking about that when you're going through the list of football players. If you add in some basketball and track athletes, and Lake City just turns them out. A lot of really good athletes.
Yeah, I think it's Greg Berg, their basketball coach, does a fantastic job. Really well known, I think, for his leadership talks as Wangen fields the punt cleanly, which is the most important thing, slips right at our own 36-yard line, and that's where Stewartville offense will take over. Yeah, Nate Heisey was one of the better basketball players that I've seen, did a really fantastic job at Northern Iowa. I can't remember if he's still there or not. But
and is it the sister that plays professional hockey for the Minnesota Hockey Club?
That ended up winning the title, I believe.
That Taylor, I think, is...
Taylor Heisey, you're exactly right. She played for the Gophers.
Yeah.
So Wellick in the backfield. He's got Isaac Larson on the near side, Wangen and Klug on the far side. He sent Bancroft in motion. Scanlon's behind him. He's going to hand that one off to Scanlon, who gets around the edge. He's going to beat another Lake City guy. Does a little stutter step, spins back. He gains about 5 yards. A lot of work there by Scanlon to pick up just 5 yards.
Yeah, that probably should have been a loss of 2, but it ends up being a +5. Good work there by Scanlon to make something out of nothing.
So Stewartville 2nd down and a long 5, we'll say. 10:42 to go in the second quarter. Stewartville up 34-0. 2nd down and a long 5. Klug and Larson on the near side after that big hit by Isaac Larson on 3rd down. On the far side is Wangen. Wellick takes the snap. He's going to back up. He throws that one to Dylan Scanlon in the The flat, great job by Josh Willers to set the edge, but a better job by Dylan Scanlon as he breaks a tackle. Parker Wangen's holding him off, cut back by Scanlon, and he's got another long touchdown. This one from 59 yards away. Wow, what a play, Coach.
Well, the last play I said he made something out of nothing. I don't know what to say about that one because he made a lot more than something. And that play I thought was more of a nothing than the one before it. So Scanlon with some amazing moves.
And I love Parker Wangen doing the old back to the defender,
Yeah.
and then Scanlon read it perfect, cut it back, knowing his speed. He can outrun anybody.
Yeah, what a play.
Wangen back to his kicking duties. Klug says, you know what, I'll just keep holding. And that one's good. 41-0, 10:06 to go in the second quarter as Stewartville looks like a tank on the field running over an aluminum can right now.
Well, it's been an impressive showing here in the afternoon of this second round game. I'm kind of at a loss for words in some of these plays.
Up 41-0, still 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. Scanlon, that 23-yard touchdown run he had on Tuesday night against Red Wing, that last play reminded me of it. His ability to shift in and out of cuts and how fast he can go for shifting that cut and then getting to full speed is unlike a lot of people we've seen. Maybe Owen Sikik's the next guy you'd think about that is able to accelerate that fast.
Yeah, Carter Miller maybe.
Oh, Carter Miller, that's a great point.
But those three guys, I think, have a little bit of a special, just a special ability to hit the open field and be gone with the flash of an eye.
As my brother-in-law says, for special athletes, they're different.
Yep.
They're different, Coach. That's probably one of the greatest compliments you can get. He's different. Brecken Rester on to kick for us, our soccer goalie, pulling double duty in the fall season for the second year in a row. Always appreciate that, giving Wangen a little bit of a break. Rester end over end to the 10-yard line. That one's going to be fielded by Berlin. He's going to try to take it up the middle, but they collapse the kickoff coverage. And I believe Carter Dick was on the tackle, at least one of them. Oh, Eli Shy.
You're getting good at that.
I think I'm saying it in my sleep. That is the toughest name.
Like, you can say the most amazing calls, and it just comes out naturally. But
and I'm trying to read it.
And when Eli Shy comes up,
yeah, you nail it every time.
Your tongue folds in half, which is just so funny.
You nail it
to
every
me.
time. I formation for Lake City. They got Thieren and Lou in the backfield. Heggie's going to pitch that one to Lou. He's going to try to take the left side. Mickey Height was there to kind of set the edge. He had to cut back. He does gain about 2 or 3 yards as we are looking right into the sun, Coach.
Yeah, I'm wondering how the camera's showing up for the
Let us
people
know.
at
Text
home.
us. Let us know how the audio's doing, how the video's doing.
Well, our likes just went up about 3, so apparently it's going okay.
We're looking for double digits, and Coach is looking for a new Corvette. Try to speak things into existence around here. Hopefully all 3 girls could fit in the back seat of a Corvette there, Coach.
We'd make it work.
Second down and 7. Heggie under center, that I formation, 2 wide receivers on the near side. That's a handoff right up the middle. And our defensive tackles kind of set the border, and then Grayson's sure to take him down for no gain. It's going to be 3rd down and 7 with 8:54 to go.
Well, Coach Niram's tried some different things with the offense. He's been looking outside early to run with some jet sweeps and some toss plays. And then here we're trying a little bit of inside action. It's just going to be hard to run the ball. And I do think going forward, that's going to be the key for anybody hoping to stick with the Stewartville Tigers is anybody going to be able to run the ball against them?
Thanks to people texting me, making sure to give us updates on the audio and video. That's not something that's easy to follow along or monitor while we're up here. And so we do appreciate you guys letting us know how the view is. They did comment that the sun is a battle, but that's okay. Nothing we can do about that. Like Coach says, control what you can control. Talk about this Lake City team, Coulter Heggie leads them obviously at quarterback, 66 of 125 for 669 on the year for yards, 3 touchdowns. For running backs, Asher B, 84 carries, 275 yards, 1 touchdown. That's an average 3.3 yards per carry. Aaron Liu, 38 carries for 274, 3 touchdowns for him, 7.2 yards a carry. And then Cam Thieren, who you've been seeing at fullback, 50 carries for 209 and 2 touchdowns. Luke Narum is their leading wide receiver with 23 catches, 319 yards and 2 touchdowns, almost 14 yards a catch for him. But we've seen some fantastic other receivers out there. Josh Wohlers is one of them, but Luke Narum, who we thought was a quarterback at one time, looks to be shifting towards the wide receiver position. Narum, a 5'10", 160-pound junior. That's a deep pass there. Oh my gosh! McGill came over, and I think they're going to get him for targeting. Did Berlin catch that? He's hurt. Yeah, it was Berlin. What a catch by Berlin, but I think they're going to get him for targeting. Coach, we're going to step away, let the athletic training staff tend to the injured player, and then we'll be back in just a minute when the field clears off, and hope he is okay. We're back. Good to see Berlin walk off under his own power. Hopefully he is okay. It was a targeting penalty, so 15 yards added to the incredible catch there by Berlin, and Lake City now has it. The tip of the ball touching the 20-yard line, so first time they are in the red zone against this Gold Rush defense. And it looks like all the starters are back out there now for Stewartville trying to keep this donut on the board. We've seen some 2s and 3s filtering in there and playing with the starters. Now I think you got all the top guys out as Heggie's going to try to run that one himself, and Lincoln Doobie and Justice Dino put a stop to that. They will give him forward progress of about 2 yards, and it'll be 2nd down and 8. Bend but don't break here, Coach.
Yeah, for sure. Anything that the Gold Rush can do to keep the points off the board, that's always their main goal, is to get that donut up there and keep it there. Heggie ran the ball pretty well against the Crescent from that quarterback spot, so probably a pretty good decision to try that here in this situation.
Heggie in the backfield with B. He's got trips to the left, tight trips to the left. All alone on the near side is Luke Fleming now, who had to take over for Berlin. That handoff to the outside, and Isaac Larson steps in to tackle Lou for a pretty good gain. I think he picked up about 5. It's going to be 3rd down and 2, maybe? No, I'm way wrong. It's like 3rd down and 3 or 4. 6:53 to go. Stewartville up 41-0 as they're trying to keep that donut on the board so Darlin Bakery can fire up those ovens and bring some treats in for this Gold Rush team. They always love that. I was telling Coach that if they keep putting donuts up on the board and getting those donuts from Darlin Bakery, you're going to have to update the weights on his roster.
Add a couple pounds to each guy.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hey, we were part of that. How come we're not getting any donuts, Darlin Bakery? And that handoff to B as he's trying to pick his way through. And oh, Grayson Schneider did the old lawn pull and pulled the ball out. Absolutely, that's a fumble. Absolutely it is. Grayson Schneider did the old Caleb Jansen lawnmower pull.
That's
Ripped
right.
that thing out. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. Grayson Schneider, strong.
He is strong. There's no doubt about that. He's built different, right? Like he just doesn't look like the rest of the guys on the field. And a great job there to just keep ripping at that ball until it comes out. They had the ball carrier stood up, and the whistle could have blown, but it was still he was still working. So good job by the D line to get that ball out.
Great job on the turnover. I believe Stewartville, if I'm not mistaken, is plus 11 this year, if I'm not mistaken. But Lake City also, to their credit, I think they're like plus 9 on the year. So also a good job in terms of getting turnovers, but yet not giving the ball away. Vince Wellick in the backfield. He's back there with Abdi. Height goes in motion. On the far side is Wangen and Klug. Stewartville up 41 points with 6:21 to go. A little flare out pass there to Jace Klug, and Klug's going to push forward for just about 10 1/2 yards to get a first down and move the sticks. Nice safe pass there, getting Wellick out of the pocket. Klug, another touch for him. Are they going to say he was short of the marker? How is that possible? 2nd down and 1. 2nd down and 1. Wellick in the backfield. He's got 2 guys moving in motion, so everybody needs to reset here. Make sure that we don't get illegal motion. Abdi on the handoff. He's got Doobie out there. He's got Mickey Height out there who's still blocking. He's trying to work his way forward. Falls to the 30-yard line. More than enough this time to make me correct on saying it's a first down.
Well, Stewartville gets a chance here to work on some offensive plays heading into half. They got 6 minutes here, 5:30 going on the clock. And again, these guys are going to keep building, keep working. And so I know the score is 41-0, but they got to keep working themselves. There's bigger fish to fry down the road if they can keep winning this game and moving on here in the playoffs.
They're going to hand that one off to Abdi, who pitches it to Wangen, and now he's got the ball looking to do something in space. But great job there by Coulter Heggie to stay home and get that reverse play, and now it's going to be 2nd down and 8. Really good job by Heggie staying home, peeling off the block, and then making the tackle in open space against a really athletic Parker Wangen.
Yeah, to be honest, Lake City's had some good plays here on defense of doing the right thing and flying to the ball, 8 hats to the ball on most of these tackles. It's just the big plays have been getting them. A few missed tackles here and there as well.
What Lake City needs to do is get a stop and get the ball back and try to double dip as they do a counter to Abdi, and he's running right behind Ridge Hats and Mickey Height. And Abdi is going to get about 9 yards and pick up a first down as Stewartville's starting to methodically burn a little clock, move the ball down the field on the ground, because Coach Muller, doesn't want to let them get a drive before the first half, knowing that Lake City will get the opening kickoff to start the second half.
Right.
I'm sure he has plays that he could take shots to the end zone, but that's not the goal right now. The goal is to burn as much clock as you can and finish in the end zone with as little time left as possible in the second quarter.
Absolutely. If he can make that happen, that's exactly what Coach Muller and the offensive coaches are looking for here.
Wellick in the backfield with Abdi. He's going to drop back to pass. He's waiting. Great time. There's Isaac Larson on the sideline, and he's going to get down to about the 41-yard line. And here comes a flag. I believe there was a little excessive throw after stepping out of bounds, and so I'd imagine an extra 15. What would be hilarious if Coach Muller declined it and says, no, we want that extra 15 yards as we milk clock. Great job there by the offensive line, giving so much time to Wellick. Wellick also does a nice job of moving around the pocket. The throw that he made to Jace Klug against Red Wing on Tuesday, he had the touchdown pass to Parker Wangen. Both of those, one was on a bad snap too, but both of those he had to move around the pocket. And just that presence of mind. I don't know if it's like a sixth sense that you can feel guys closing in on you, or if he's seeing that out of his peripheral vision. Either way, we got a new set of downs here. 1st and 10 from the Lake City 25. Abdi goes out, so now Wellick alone in the backfield. He's going to drop back. He's going to throw a little screen pass to Jace Klug. Great block, enough by Ridge Hats as Jace Klug cuts it back, and that's better than the Rice Krispies they gave us in the booth as Jace Klug gets in the end zone from 35 yards away, 25 yards away, 25 yards because of the extra penalty, and Stewartville now leads 47-0.
On a beautiful little play call there, a little wide receiver. Talked about the little tunnel screen from Lake City. Stewartville does it as well, and it results in 6 more points for Jace Klug. Great job of blocking down the field, and an awesome job of Klug to just follow those blocks and get into the end zone. Here you go. You got Kunder in for the extra point.
Leslie Kunder! Everybody's favorite Tiger. Oh, what a kick. Just pulled it left. Had plenty of distance. Almost hit the Liberty Bell over there. I don't know if that's it. What do you call that bell? The one they ring on the way on.
Yeah, I don't know either, but
we would have called it the Kunder bell had he hit that thing. Make it ring, Leslie. Make it ring.
That's awesome.
47-0, 3:43 to go in the second quarter as Klug scores on that one. That is Vince Wellick's 4th touchdown pass. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the last 4 games he's had 4 or more touchdown passes in every one.
Well, before that last touchdown pass, and you had mentioned him moving around in the pocket, I was just going to, comment to you on just think of the improvement for Vince Wellick over the course of the 8-9 games that we've seen this year. Starting out against Waseca, Vince just looked a little uncomfortable. I think he would admit that. And Waseca's defense was a little faster, perhaps, than maybe some of the defenses that we've seen in the middle of the season. But week by week, we see just little improvements here, little improvements there. His comfort level, finding his receivers, and certainly I think you and I both have noticed that the touch passes on those end zone fades and those deep posts just getting better and better. And what a quarterback he's turning out to be.
And I think the other thing Coach Muller talked about is his leadership. And you see him a lot of times out there being the first guy to slap hands, either the defense coming off as Berlin. Good to see him back out there is going to receive this kick. Simon Emanuel kind of sets the edge and coming through, I believe was 41. No, it was 11. It was Nolan Light again. We'll see what the penalty flag is. But his leadership qualities, Vince Wellick, and just taking over, and to see that from the quarterback position is something you need.
Yeah, he's such a quiet guy off the field. I got him in class right now, and he barely talks unless he's asked to talk.
I didn't hear what he said, did you?
I didn't
10-yard penalty on Lake City of some sort.
Yep. But anyway, Vince Wellick is just a good young man, but again, quiet and humble. But I think it's lead by example a lot of times for Vince. He's not going to be the rah-rah guy very often unless needed to be.
We talk about 2 quiet guys that are absolute stars on the sideline right here. Parker Wong and Vince Wellick right next to one another. I can't imagine much conversation is going on, but it looks like Tanner Tyghe's carrying the conversation anyway. The guy that will talk your ear off. Heggie in the backfield with Asher B. He's going to roll to the right and just try to run this one, but Stewartville's defense is a little faster than La Crescent's. You're not going to get to the side without about 4 or 5 Tigers coming to take you down. Cool to see Caleb Bancroft pick him back up. Kind of a show of sportsmanship. Regardless of the scoreboard, hopefully we can maintain that. It is 3:18 to go, 47-0 Stewartville. Stick around at halftime as we will try to give some love to fall sports teams that we always enjoy doing, and that's one of the reasons why we have tried to switch to this YouTube broadcast over the huddle is just that first week cutting into the time that we spend trying to honor and shine a spotlight on incredible fall sport athletes that maybe don't play on the gridiron here. As Heggie fakes the handoff, he's trying to go up. Grayson Schneider has about 17 guys trying to block him. And did he come back to make the tackle anyway? I think he did. He is jumping out of there. I swear he had like 2 or 3 guys on him, and those are not small guys. Garrett Goyle, he's a big dude.
Schneider looks to have a little extra pep in the step this afternoon, doesn't he? He looks like he's ready to play on Saturdays. Maybe that's it. Maybe he's ready to just jump into that college setting and play a lot of 1 o'clock and noon games.
Oh, and the scenery out there just looks gorgeous
Yeah.
in Montana. Who was it? My brother-in-law, I think, was showing me the background of the BYU football stadium and the mountains and stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
how do you concentrate on football?
Yeah.
I'm sure Grayson will find a way.
Well, I've been out there before to ski at Bridger Bowl there in Bozeman. It's a pretty awesome place.
4 wide for Lake City. Hagee's going to drop back to pass on this 3rd down and 4, and it's just outside the reach of Aaron Liu, and it's now going to be 4th down and 5. And I'd imagine Lake City this deep in their own territory is going to punt, and there's 1:43 left. Parker Wangen going back to return this one. That's more than enough time for Coach Muller's offense, especially when you're talking about a team that has 3 timeouts yet.
I'll be curious to see if Stewartville goes after this one again. They've tried probably 3 times to go get one and come up short on all of them. If at first you don't succeed, try again. It looks like they're setting up a return though with this look.
Ethan Brunkow back to punt for Lake City, standing on his own 5-yard line. Good snap. And they are, looks like, going to set up a return. Wangen's going to catch this one. He's going to break to the right side of the field. It's still clean, still clean. Eli Shai gets tripped up. And Wangen makes it to about the 46-yard line, and Stewartville will start with a shorter field as he makes it across midfield. And they'll try to put another touchdown on the board before the end of the half, or at least get close enough to let Wangen or Koondert kick a field goal.
Yeah, you got to keep working here if you're the Stewartville Tigers. I know that the score is a little lopsided, but there's a pretty good chance that at halftime, a lot of these starters are done. Maybe they'll get a drive in the 3rd quarter, but their time is limited here. So this is their last time to.
I'm thinking you're going to see something to Bancroft. Everybody else on the field has scored, I think. So here's Wellick. He throws one over to Parker Wangen, who catches it for about a 5-yard gain. A little bit of frustration, I'm sure, by the defensive back over there trying to whip him down. Unfortunately, Parker Wangen, 6'4", 200 pounds, and so he doesn't go down. 2nd down and 5. The clock is still moving, 1:15 to go. Kluge and Bancroft on the near side, Wangen on the far side, Scanlon and Height in the backfield with Wellick. Wellick takes the snap. He fakes the handoff. He doesn't have anybody. He's now moving around. He throws it up and out of bounds. Parker Wangen was over in that area, but probably good job by Vince Wellick not trying to force something, live to fight another down, as it's going to be 3rd down and 5 with exactly 1 minute to go.
Yeah, good job by Wellick to, as you mentioned, move in the pocket, just stay active, and then when nothing was there, get rid of the ball. Live to fight another day here.
So Wellick takes the snap. He's going to hand that one off to Dylan Scanlon. Scanlon following Mickey Height. He's ducking in and out like he normally does. And he's taken down, but he's slow getting up. I hope that's not an ankle or something. It looks like he did get rolled up a little bit. That would be terrible news. He is down. Scanlon, as Abdi comes out. And with Tyler already dealing with Luke Eastman here on the sideline, it looks like one of the residents or doctors is going to come out. It does look like he's a little bit ginger walking off. So another 1st down for Stewartville. 55 seconds to go, 47-0. We just got a shout out from Jason Feldman on the Post Bulletin saying that he was kind of tuning in, trying to keep up with this game. He just tweeted out Stewartville up 47-0, and we'll try to see if Stewartville can get that to 50 or more here. It's a pass to Jace Klug. Oh, geez, Mickey Height almost blew out his knee trying to stop there, and he's limping. Did you see that?
I did. Well, you will.
That looks super awkward.
Think of how many are against you to go and.
Caleb Bancroft. Shell Lunas set a block. Oh, and he just ran somebody over. Caleb Bancroft did. And like Post Malone says, teamwork makes the dream work, and Bancroft had some help. Shell Lunas and Ridge Hats were out front setting that little tunnel for Bancroft to run through. And then that final guy, Bancroft said, "Don't worry, boys, I'll just run over him."
Yeah, I was thinking about how big you said Parker Wangen is, and then Caleb Bancroft makes Parker look like an ordinary human being. So Caleb's what, 6'7",
He's got to be 6'7",
6'8",
240.
Yeah, and just
going to University of Minnesota Duluth.
Yeah.
He's only played tackle football for 2 years.
That's
Last year
correct.
was his first year going out for football,
Yep.
and the guy, sky's the limit for him. Isaac Larson is going to hold that one as Jace Klug came off the field a little bit ginger. And Bancroft with the touchdown. I believe it was from 30 yards away. And 5 touchdowns for Vince Wellick. Like
There
I
you go.
said,
Yep.
I know that everybody calls it Tiger Nation, but maybe
Yep.
Vinny City, baby. Can we catch that? Can that get trending?
And you called who was going to score that 5th
Hey,
touchdown
hey,
catch.
yo,
So you're
yo.
on. You are on your game.
I tell you, well, it's the last time we're up here in the Dan Simmons broadcast
true.
booth. We got to bring our A game. I've reached out to NSPN asking, hey, do you want Coach Meyer and I to broadcast that Section 1 3A championship game? And I think they send my emails to spam, Coach, because they don't return. 2 of
Okay,
them.
well, that's a bummer.
That happens. Bancroft. It's great to see so many guys involved. You talk about height on that double pass. Probably my favorite play of the game. It was the first one. Peyton English had the scoop and score, fumble recovery. Then it was Wellick to Wangen. 45-yard touchdown run to Dylan Scanlon. 31-yard touchdown, Wellick to Wangen. 59-yard touchdown reception from Wellick to Scanlon. 25-yard touchdown from Wellick to Klug. And now 30-yard touchdown from Wellick to Bancroft. That makes it 54 rip with 30 seconds to go in the second quarter as we are halfway to 100. And the orange, what do they call them? The orange slices. What do we get at halftime? Do they get food down there? Those haven't even come off ice yet.
Yeah, I don't know. They probably.
I would guess granola bars, maybe some. They got to get something for energy. They're putting a lot of work out there. Is that going to roll into the end zone? Oh my gosh, Brecken Rester couldn't have put that ball better. It almost died at the 1-yard line. And there was Simon Emanuel floating down the field and getting the tackle inside the 10-yard line. I would imagine that Lake City is just going to kneel this down and go into halftime.
Yep.
This deep in your own territory, and I don't think I see a starter out there. I do not. As Stewartville is going to pull the ones here in the second quarter. And you can tell all the big cats down here are putting their helmets to the side. No need to keep those on to stay warm today, Coach.
Nope, it's a beautiful afternoon. The sun is, well, just beating into our box here. Everybody's warm.
And Lake City's going to kneel it down, and appreciate Coach Muller not using 3 timeouts to try to get the ball back up 54. And the Stewartville crowd is loving what they're seeing. Packed house here, Coach. I mean, you got almost the entire bleacher is set up. Student section a little light today for some reason. Not as many students here. I don't know why on a Saturday afternoon there wouldn't be. Standing room down the fence line. In terms of Lake City, they brought a somewhat sizable crowd for an away game where they have to travel, 40 minutes?
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere. And just the Saturday afternoon game just kind of brings a little different feel to a game. Not going to lie, I prefer the Friday night feel,
Yes.
but the afternoon is just something different and not too bad for a second-round playoff game.
We got the Tiger Nation halftime show here where we get to talk about some incredible athletes that we have in some of the other sports. I got to go way back because, Coach, I had this halftime show prepared for Red Wing, and we never made it to halftime.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to have to go back a little bit, and hopefully everybody bears with me. I mean, we got 15 minutes, so what the heck? We'll run it down. Let's volleyball. At this point, when we joined the broadcast here, the volleyball team was 18-3 going into the last week of the season. They finished the regular season against the Rochester Lured Eagles with a clean sweep on senior night. The seniors played a majority of their rotations. The scores 25-19, 25-15, 25-21. Kylie Minnick led the way, 11 kills, 16 digs for the senior. Charlie Holmes, 6 kills, 1 block. Dream Petershon, 4 kills, 1 block. Hallie Jelinek, 4 kills, 4 digs. Matilda Doobie, 3 kills, 1 block. Olivia DeCook, 3 kills. Abby Langseth, 14 assists, 2 kills. Kate Clavetter, 17 digs, 3 aces. Reagan Middlestat, 19 digs, 6 aces. Kaylee Lehrman, 11 assists, 7 digs. The volleyball team would then move on to the Chaska tournament. This was a best of 3 for match play. Started off with Fillmore Central and Bethlehem Academy, and it was straight set victories for Stewartville, 25-14, 25-18 against Fillmore Central. Against Bethlehem Academy, it was 25-21, and then a marathon to win it, 34-32. Incredible there. Quarterfinals, we would play Concordia Academy, and we would drop the first set 25-21, but come roaring back to win 25-22 in set number 2 and force that stressful third set, which I'm sure Bernie Theobald was going through every superstition he had to try to pull the victory out. Well, it obviously helped. The Tigers would take an 18-16 win and move on to the semifinals and battle Chaska. Stewartville would take the hearts of the hometown team, Chaska, with 25-17, 25-16 win. And then it was Mayor Lutheran in the championship game. Stewartville would win the first set 25-23, drop the second set 25-14, force a race to 15 points in the third set, and we hit it, baby, 15-13, and Stewartville wins the Chaska tournament, if I'm not mistaken, for the first time since our state championship season of 2019. I'm missing some stats for Bethlehem Academy, but in terms of the whole tournament, this is what I do have. Ella Theobald in total now, 36 kills, 7 digs, 5 blocks. She had 10 kills alone against Bethlehem Academy. Kate Clavetter, she had 1 ace, 57 digs. She's our team leader in that category. 6 assists. She had 18 digs against Concordia Academy, 15 digs against Chaska, 14 against Mayor Lutheran in the championship. Dream Petershon, 30 kills, 7 blocks. She had 11 kills alone against Bethlehem Academy. Kaylee Lehrman, 3 aces, 29 digs, 60 assists. 10 digs, 15 assists against Bethlehem Academy, 10 digs, 12 assists against Concordia Academy, 13 assists versus Chaska, 11 versus Mayor Lutheran. Lehrman playing out of her mind, 60 assists. Are you kidding me? Matilda Doobie, 16 kills, 3 aces, 8 blocks, 11 digs. She had 4 stuffs in the stat sheet for blocks against Concordia Academy. Abby Langseth, 32 assists, 30 digs, 2 aces. Charlie Holmes, 23 kills, 8 blocks, 5 digs. She had a fantastic tournament. No game better than the one against Fillmore Central, 8 kills for her. Kylie Minnick, 9 kills, 6 aces, 53 digs, 1 block, 15 digs against Concordia Academy, 12 digs against Chaska, 18 against Mayor Lutheran. Reagan Middlestat, 8 aces, 31 digs. We move on to section. That was, Lourdes was the last regular season game. Chaska tournament was our last, tune-up, if you will, and then we went into section play. We would get the number 2 seed and take on Faribault. Let's run down the section breakdown for you. Byron was the 1 seed. They would take on Winona, the 8 seed. Casanmanaville, the 4 seed, would take on number 5 seed Austin. Like I said, Stewartville, number 2, Faribault, number 7, and then Red Wing, number 3, Albert Lee, number 6. In terms of that, it ran to chalk as Stewartville beat Faribault, and Red Wing will be our next test. That is 10:30. I got the stats right here. Yes. So against Faribault, 25-14, 25-11, 26-24, and the Tigers win it 3-0. In terms of that match, Ella Theobald, fantastic. She put a couple into the ground that probably left dents in the gym floor. 7 kills on a 54% kill percentage. Dream Petershon, strong day again for our middle hitters. We got 2 of the best middle hitters in the entire area. Dream Petershon, one of them, 6 kills, 1 block, 1 dig. Matilda Doobie, the other one, 6 kills, 3 blocks, 1 ace, 2 digs. Charlie Holmes has been playing really well late in the season. We need that. First, the Chaska tournament, she was outstanding. Now 6 kills, 2 blocks, 2 digs. Kaylee Lehrman and Abby Langseth, each of them had 13 assists. Lehrman with 4 digs, Langseth with 11 digs, 2 aces, and 3 kills. Kylie Minnick, 2 kills, 2 aces, 1 block, 8 digs, as she did a little bit of everything. And then Reagan Middlestat led the team in digs with 18. Kate Clavetter with 10 digs, 2 aces, and 5 assists. The team now 24-4. What a record for them. They will take on Red Wing, the number 3 seed Red Wing, on October 30th. That is in Stewartville, 7 p.m. In the other bracket, it stayed to chalk. Byron, Castellanorville, 1 seed versus number 4 seed. The winner of those games will play at the Mayo Civic Center for the section championship and the right to go to state. That is November 2nd at 2 o'clock. What else do we have? Cross country, it was the HVL championships. I haven't told you about those yet because those were supposed to come out on Tuesday in terms of me talking about them, but we have the results here. Cross country, how about this? Josh Langseth, our homecoming king, took 2nd place in the HVL conference, 16:47. That was hosted here in Tiger Nation. Nolan Schatz, 5th place finish for him, 17:11. Jackson Eckerman in 12th place, 17:41. Jack Owen in 15th place, 18 minutes flat. Asher Langseth in 16th place, 18:03. 2 other runners, they ran, but they didn't score. That's okay. Still good days. 22nd place, Ethan Owen, 9 points. What else do we have? Well, I'll tell you. Boys soccer finished up their season, but I did see we got a couple of postseason honors. Cole Kropp was named All-State and All-Conference, 20 goals, 15 assists. Also All-Conference selection, Matthew Waters and Logan Quam. For girls soccer, some postseason team awards. The MVP and Defensive Player of the Year went to Ivy Smoley, a junior. Offensive Player of the Year went to Olivia Meyer, also a junior. And then the Rookie of the Year, Danica Schindler, one of our star basketball players, just a freshman. Cross country in action at the section meet. I believe that was Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. It was run. I don't even have it written down here. That's terrible by me. But either way, let's talk about this. Cross country Section 1 AA championships. For girls, the team finished in 7th out of 10 with a score of 150. 73 runners total in this race. Celis Guerin was our top finisher with 15th place. 20:06 was her time. 23rd place, Nora Campbell, 20 minutes, 41 seconds. Elise Campbell, 28th place, 21:06. Luella Geechee, 35th place, 21:34. Olivia Bunny, 56th place, 23:03. Those were our top 5 scorers. Also running, 59th place, Hannah Loftus, 23:06. Jenna Keim in 61st place, 23:16. Cool article by the Post Bulletin coming out with Nora Campbell and her battle over her lifetime of spherocytosis, has had her gallbladder removed, her spleen removed, and continues to battle that and have to manage it appropriately. So great to see her out there doing well. Top 20, top 25 there in the section cross-country race. Now on to the boys in the top 10, and they will move on to state. That is November 2nd at Les Bolstad Golf Course in the University of Minnesota. I think that's all I have. I went through all my papers that I had notes written down. Coach, what a time to be alive here in Tiger Nation. 2 cross-country guys going to the state meet up at the University of Minnesota. Cole Kropp, an all-state selection. Our volleyball team, 24-4, number 2 seed, on their way to a section semifinal matchup against Red Wing on Wednesday night. This football team is up 54-0. Our tennis team was fantastic this year.
Yep.
It couldn't get better.
Yeah, no, it's as you said, it's a great time to be a Tiger, and so many athletes doing wonderful things, and yeah, it's pretty fun to have the whole community kind of buying in and being competitive and finding what they're good at. You know, what each kid is good at. They're contributing and finding a way to have fun and be a part of something bigger than themselves. So pretty cool.
Yeah, and then we look forward to, we got obviously this, if this game stays the way it is, we'll be looking at a section final game for the third straight year and hoping to bring that home. Speaking of section football, Coach, I told you I would do this, and I did. I counted up in the number of first-round games, and I'm going to let you guess first.
Okay.
We talked about maybe there's something to do with the rearranging of, like how Minnesota does playoff football. And I looked through from 6A all the way to 9-man,
okay,
and I looked at all the games in the first round, and I threw out 4 and 5s because I think we can both agree that those are coin flips.
Yep.
Every other game, though, I counted. There were 76 games that fit this criteria. Out of those 76, how many times did the lower seed, when I say lower, I mean it's a higher number.
I get you. Yep.
But a lower seed, how many times was the upset pulled? 76 games. How many wins did the upset happen, do you think?
Well, Lourdes over Zambrota's 1.
Yeah, I was going to say you already know 1.
So 1, and I'm going to say one other team did it. I'll say 2.
3 is the answer.
3 is the answer.
73 higher seeds, better teams, won. Only 3 upsets when you're talking 7 different divisions, 8 different sections.
Yeah.
That's incredible to me. 96% of top seeds carried on to the next round. And so I know that we had said we would talk about that. And, the 4 versus 5, even when you added that up, quite a few 4s went through, definitely a majority.
Right.
But there were some 5 seeds. But I think, like I said, we can agree that at that point, that's a toss-up. But I don't think taking the top 5 teams is a bad thing.
No.
It's these 1 versus 8s and the 2 versus 7s that,
yeah,
you're worried about player health. If player health is an issue, maybe one less game is okay.
Well, and even in the Rochester Lourdes against Zambroda Mazeppa, the records were, a game or 2 apart. So is that an upset or not? I suppose it was simply based off of seeds and records. But I think those of us that watch the conference closely or the section closely would probably argue that those 2 teams could play 10 times and probably have 5 different winner. Each team would
Split
win
it.
5. So, yeah. But, yeah, I don't think there's going to be very often that an 8 beats a 1 or a 7 beats a 2. Not often at all. So I did find the update of the Pine Island and Lourdes score at halftime. Jason Feldman, our buddy, said that it was 14-7. Pine Island was winning at the half, and Lourdes ran a trick play on a hook and ladder with was it 54 seconds to go in the half? Hook and ladder that turned into the 7 points for the Lourdes Eagles. So,
Oh, no way.
yeah, so
Coach
kind of
Kessler drawing up a little razzle-dazzle, as they might say.
It's in the playbook. It's deep in there. But yeah, kind of just a little preview into what next week might look like.
What's crazy is when I was looking at some of these other sections, so Section 2, Dassel-Cokato against Watertown Mare. Dassel-Cokato up 20-0. Litchfield, Howard Lake. Litchfield, the number 2 seed, they're up 14-0. Section 3, Waseca, Jordan. That's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah.
That's at 2 o'clock. It starts Fairmont. How about Fairmont? They're going to take on Laverne. I don't know. That's also at 2 o'clock. We don't have any updates for either of that. Holy Family Catholic in Section 4 is the 1 seed. They're up 14-0. Minneapolis North, St. Croix Lutheran in the 2 versus 3 game, 28-14 Minneapolis North. In Section number 5, it's Annandale, number 1 seed versus Malacca. St. Cloud Cathedral versus Foley. Both of those games are later tonight at 7 p.m. In Section 6, Albany, who's a team that's been destroying teams. I believe they're also undefeated. Albany Sauk Center, that starts at 3 o'clock. Minnewaska versus New London Spicer. That's 2 versus 3. That also starts a little bit later. No scores for that. Section 7, Pequot Lakes, who I think is, I'm trying to think of who had the QRF. They don't have Stewartville as number 1. I don't know if it's Pequot Lakes or Fergus Falls. But either way, Pequot Lakes is ahead on Esco, the 1 versus 4 game, 21-0. 2 Harbors against Piers, 2 versus 3. It's 7-0. In section number 8, that Fergus Falls team I was just talking about, they will take on East Grand Forks at 6 p.m. Morris area versus DGF. That's going to be a game to watch. 2 versus 3. You're talking about 2 teams, I believe, in the top 10 for polling, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe DGF isn't. I'm just looking at it now.
They're in the same section, you're saying?
Yeah, they're in the section semifinal against each other.
Gotcha.
DGF, a team that we played in the state semifinal, and then Morris area ranked number 7. So just a cool run here, and we're excited to be in playoffs. Coach Meyer and I are going to step aside for 3 or 4 minutes, rest Coach Meyer's voice with how much he's been talking, get some popcorn in us, and we'll be back for second half action, which I would imagine are quite a few Stewartville players that you haven't seen yet. So stick with us. Stewartville up 54-0, second half coming in about 2 or 3 minutes. And we are back for second half action up here in the Dan Simmons broadcast booth. Aaron Meyer, Adam Peterson bringing you all the action. If you missed the first half, you missed a track meet. 54 points put up by Stewartville. Everything went right for the Tigers, and Lake City struggling to move the ball against this talented defense. But you likely will see all 2s and 3s for Stewartville from here on out. We'll see what Lake City chooses to do. A little bit lighter on their sideline in terms of depth, so they may be forced to keep a few guys in there. First guy to get the ball in the second half, Luke Narum, and he's going to be brought down by Sawyer Wood and number 45, Carter Dick.
Well, even on the kickoff team, we see some 2s in there, some guys getting some running down the field and making a tackle.
Hey,
Carter Dick.
Look who's here.
Oh, my goodness.
Come on. Holy cow.
Legends.
We have Dan Simmons up here in the broadcast booth. Can you believe it? We'll try to call this game in the royalty here. Royalty. We're gonna take a little delay. Hopefully they don't throw a big touchdown pass, because I'm gonna plug in a third headset. And the guy that this broadcast booth is named after, a guy that started these broadcasts well before anybody got a huddle camera, before live streaming even was a thing at one point.
I could just give you mine.
Test. Let's see if this works. Let's see if a third headset works. And I'm going to bring it up on YouTube to make sure it all comes through. Give me a test, Dan. Let's see that. Let's hear that heavenly voice.
Check 1, 2.
Okay, let's see. Dan, you probably know more about this stuff than I do.
I would doubt that.
There he goes. Now he's working.
You hear him now, Coach?
Yep,
I hear
got
myself.
him now.
Yeah. Yes. That's the sound that you'll hear when you enter heaven, everybody. That's Dan
Oh,
Simmons.
my goodness.
Dan.
Roll up your pant legs, man. It's getting deep.
Heggie with the handoff to Lou up the middle. They stop him. Dan Simmons, when did this whole broadcast, I've said it once, I've said it a million times, it wouldn't be what it is without Dan Simmons. And that's why we hung the flag, so it's official, Coach. We talked about that. When you plant your flag like a country, we hung the Dan Simmons broadcast booth flag here, and it's because of this guy right here. I wouldn't be up here. I'm sure I wouldn't have been able to pass the baton to you being up here without Dan Simmons. Dan, when did you start your broadcasting? Coach always talks about how you had to burn him DVDs for game film. You got to tell us about that.
Boy, that's a
When did
while
you
ago
start,
we did
though?
that. I first helped out. Brian Berg was running all the audio-visual stuff at school, and he asked me to come on board, and I actually did my first job for burning DVDs and all that was graduation in 2007.
Oh, really?
And for those of you Stewartville alumni, that's the year we had a streaker during graduation. So that was very memorable for me.
Did you have to edit that out?
No, we didn't have edit capabilities. So I said, do we air this? And he said, sure.
Times have changed, Dan. Times have changed.
Yeah.
We're going to get a second down play. Second down and 4 from the 44-yard line of Lake City. Heggie under center. He's got an I formation behind him. Aaron Liu in the far back. They're going to pitch it to him to the left side. The defense trying to string it out, and Liu's going to get the first down as he goes out about the 48-yard line. So you started that. When did the actual football coverage started? Didn't you used to record it and then give it to like a Stewartville channel or something? Or
yeah, for a lot of the sports and concerts and fine art stuff, we would just record it, and then we had a cable access channel there in town. We put that on the air, and at the same time, we made copies of programs and things that parents or relatives wanted to buy, and we were selling them for like $5 a piece. So they were having these memories for their kids, which was awesome.
Third down and short. They're going to hand that one off to Lou right up the middle. And this time he does get the first down. I thought he did on the last time, just across midfield. Then we built, you built that with the help of Aaron, obviously really good tech guy, built it into the live streaming. We started on Facebook, didn't we? Facebook? Or was it Stu 180?
There was actually another site we used. We did a couple audio-only streams, kind of like a radio station. I remember we did a Cannon Falls game in probably December of 2012 was probably one of our first ones that we did audio. We may have been dabbling on the video at that time too, but we tried the audio, which is much less equipment and less personnel needed. But alongside my wife Terry and like you said, Aaron helped a lot with the technology part and made it happen.
Then we moved to the Facebook stream. I want to say, so I started with you in 2015. Great story there is that Crystal kind of approached you, as my understanding, and said, hey, do you ever need help with the broadcast? Because I had gotten out of sports medicine and kind of started missing those high school sports. And from my understanding, you were like, do you know somebody? And Crystal like, I think my husband would like to do it. And I remember coming up in 2015. So this is my 10th season. Thanks to you. 10th season calling games for Stewartville. Came up in 2015. If I'm not mistaken, I thought it was Dover Iota. The paper said it was a Byron game, but I thought it was Dover Iota here at Schaefer Field, and we ended up winning. And I remember leaving. I thought it was a one-time thing, and I just said, hey, if you ever need any help, let me know. And I think you turned to me and said, I'm not doing this without you anymore. And I could not be more appreciative to the platform you've given me, the opportunity, because it's something that I really love to do. And if you didn't offer that or allow me to do it. And I remember, Coach, you come up here now and you always feel bad, like, hey, you're setting all this stuff up and I'm just kind of standing around. Now you know how I felt when Dan, when we had all that equipment, you had to roll a cart out here with all those different monitors. Dan was able to set up cameras pointing at the scoreboard. That pass is good to Narum up the middle. And Narum gets down to the 30-yard line. Great pass there by Heggie. Wait until he cleared the window. But you used to roll out all sorts of equipment. We had all sorts of wires going everywhere. And thank God nothing came out while I was on watch because I didn't know where any of it went. But really appreciate that. 2015. And then I want to say 2017 or 18 was when we started streaming live, maybe to Facebook, somewhere around there.
Yep, that sounds about right. That cart you mentioned, actually, I saw it in the closet over here.
Is the wheel still missing?
I guess I never put it away when I retired.
Remember how the one wheel always used to fall off and you'd say,
Oh, yeah.
Adam, don't lift it when we go over the ledge because the wheel's going to fall off. Somehow we made it work as Asher B takes it off left tackle. He's going to pick up about 7 or 8 as Lake City's trying to drive down the field and get that donut off the board. Stewartville up 54-0 with 7:25 to go in the third quarter. Joined in the Dan Simmons broadcast booth by the guy that it's named after, Dan Simmons. So we did Facebook for a while, and then the school chose to do YouTube, and you were able to somehow transition. So all the credit goes to you in transitioning that. A great service that you've been providing for so many years. And like I say, you're like the originator. Do you remember many streams even happening back when you started, what we've been doing live streaming?
Oh yeah, we would get a lot of feedback, and what was really nice was we would get messages and emails or whatever from relatives that live in other states, even other countries at times that just can't get here for these games, and yet they're getting to watch grandchildren and nieces and nephews, and they're able to do that from a great distance, and they were so appreciative of that. And that's basically why we got it going.
Yeah, and the one thing I appreciated about when I got in with Dan, and because he did such a fantastic job, my understanding is the school or Dan was approached several times like, hey, you could probably start making some money of this, maybe charging people, and Dan was always steadfast and like, that's not why we do this. And I'm a big believer in that too, and I think if at some point that the school does decide to go that way, I don't know if I'll be able to continue because I'm with Dan in that philosophy that there are so many like older people out there, even in Stewartville here, that can't make it to games, or family members in different states that want to watch their relatives play. And I want to provide them that service as easy as possible. And that's why we're running the second stream with YouTube, so that maybe it is a little bit easier to connect into YouTube than it is a huddle camera. And so big thanks to Dan for starting that out. You talked about the funny thing when Dan was up here with me, Aaron. When Dan was up here and we had Facebook, people would always write where they were watching from.
Oh, yeah.
And
that was always fun.
Very rarely would Dan not know, as Heggie drops back to pass on 2nd down and 8, he throws it out to the side to Theron. Theron slips but does catch it and picks up, I think, only a yard. But there were times that I had never heard of a city, and Dan would be like, oh, yeah, no, it's an hour north of blah, blah, blah. Like, were there many times that you were tripped up? Your Minnesota geography is pretty good.
Not too many.
Or he would know like the affiliation, like the relative.
I may be saying too much, but I've been on a lot of the back roads up in northern Minnesota. So,
well, like you and John Diffley telling not only where that is, but like, well, we're going to take County Road 2 through there, or just start naming roads.
It's funny you bring up John Diffley. He used to coach tennis with me, and I think it's going to be kind of funny if he's actually listening to this. But no matter where we would go for a tennis match, it seemed like everywhere we went, the bus doors, we'd get there, the bus doors was open, and there's somebody waiting to talk to him.
Oh, for
no matter
sure.
what town we're going to. It's like, oh my gosh, how many people do you know?
Yeah.
Was he a teacher here too?
Yeah.
A coach
Yeah,
for
he
tennis?
taught German, Latin.
German, Latin. He can speak 12 different languages
Oh my
fluently,
gosh.
and
Yeah, he
is
teaches
a
guitar lessons.
Yep, I learned how to
What
play
do you think
guitar
he does
from him.
now?
I think I still see his ad for guitar lessons
he still
in the paper.
teaches guitars.
So he lives around here.
Yeah. Yep.
4th down and 7 as the Stewartville defense is trying to bend but not break here. Peyton English there at the middle linebacker position. Carter Dick next to him. We got a whole new set of big cats as Dick is going to rush. Heggy's going to try to buy some time. Carson Goodman is going to come out and get the sack. I believe he was helped by number 55, Ethan Monty. There's a flag, but I would assume it's holding, and I would guess that they're going to decline it. Yeah, the preliminary call is holding. And the defense holds that 0 on the board. 4:42 to go in the 3rd quarter. 54-0 Stewartville.
Yeah, you mentioned 2015 when you started, Adam. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you showed up that night, I don't think we'd ever met.
We had not.
Yeah.
We had not.
So it's like, well, here we go.
Who the heck is this guy? Yeah.
So I have
And
a question.
if listeners can believe this, he was kind of shy
That's
and
what I
pretty
was going to
quiet.
ask. Like, has he changed over
Yeah,
the 10
he grew
years?
out of that by the 2nd quarter.
Now Coach Meyer knows what it's like for me to jump on him or jump on Dan when I get excited. Remember, I had surgery on the shoulder and I slapped you right on the shoulder the one time. You're like, ah!
Yeah.
My favorite story of Dan may have been this guy. He always showed up as Pete Cheddar is in at quarterback. He's going to hand that one off to Simon Emanuel off left tackle. Picks up about 5 or 6 yards behind a new set of big cats. But Dan, not feeling the best, had a sore throat, and he obviously was the play-by-play guy, carrying the broadcast. And I kind of just tried to fill in where I could. But Dan was a little bit sick one night, and so he was throat lozenges or cough drops. He was sucking on those all night. And he went to call a play, and all of a sudden you heard, and he's like, oh, sorry, I choked on a cough drop. Oh, it's one of my favorite moments.
I do remember that.
Oh, that was great. 2nd down and 4. Pete Cheddar in the backfield. He's going to throw that one out to Sawyer Wood, the senior. Does he get a foot in bounds? The ref is right there and says he does. And he might be just a little bit short of a 1st down. Dan, do you have any favorite moments? I know with me and you, Colin, I would say in Farmington, state quarterfinal game at Farmington against Marshall. Coach, you were the head coach at that time. You had a much worse seat than we did. We had the press box, which was probably the nicest one I've ever been in, but more importantly, the
buffet.
The buffet. They had hot dogs and hamburgers and chips.
And they just kept bringing it.
Yeah.
And, you'd go up and you'd take the last hot dog or the hamburger, and here came another plate of hamburgers. It was unbelievable how they treated people. It was just awesome.
3rd down and 1. They hand that off to Emmanuel. He tries to cut back to the middle of the field, and they push him forward. We'll see if it's enough to get a 1st down. The far side judge is usually the one that'll give a little point. They are going to give him a 1st down and a new set. 3:58 to go. 54-0. Stewartville just trying to run as much clock as they can. Do you have any favorite games or favorite moments? You've obviously got to watch Aaron Meyer coach. Well, you got to watch Aaron Meyer probably grow up in Stewartville.
Yeah.
You were a teacher when he was going through. Is that?
Oh, yeah. As a fan, I remember Aaron getting thrown into a section basketball game one time. And
as a freshman. Yeah.
Yep. That was one of my early years there.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of them. I don't know. It's more plays than games, I guess,
Sure.
Sometimes you get lucky and you say, I think it's time for an interception, and then boom, it would happen, and you look smart for about 2 minutes.
Yeah. See, that's where I got it from, Aaron. I got it from Dan. You just keep doing that every play. Eventually, you'll get it right.
Adam's been on his A game today, calling plays and touchdowns and whatnot.
Dan, one thing you could always count on for Dan is at least one baseball reference every broadcast.
Oh, every game.
Every game. It was awesome. So now retired, but still helping the school out, Dan.
Yep, still summing quite a bit. I still announce baseball, softball games, and I announce soccer games, and just keeping busy.
How about, you'd like to go up, Westleaf Lake, isn't it?
Westleaf Lake, Ottertail County.
Yeah, just loving life up there.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully we can keep Dan around Tiger Nation as long as possible because when him and Terry leave, I don't know what's going to happen. We can't leave all that responsibility to Drew. Drew, a new teacher in Tiger Nation.
Well,
did you ever think that Drew would be a teacher?
I I did,
You
but I
did?
didn't know
Yeah.
he'd end up here.
He's always been kind of good with kids. I know when my girls were younger, he was always, I just figured it was because he was immature and liked to play, but he was always good with them. And now it seems like he's really finding his niche here in Stewartville.
Yeah, I think he is. He's really enjoying it over here. He's learning a lot on the fly.
Yeah. Like drinking from a fire hose, I'm sure your first year teaching. Aaron doing well too. We've seen him sing. Nashville recording artist has brought out some albums. I got to sing at, was it the Twins game? No, the
Twins
Royals
game at Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yeah, it was the Twins against
nice.
them. Yeah, saying "God Bless America." What a great experience for him. And what a beautiful stadium. The two stadiums are there together. It's just quite the setup. But yeah, he sang the national anthem for a Vanderbilt baseball game earlier last spring or the spring before. So he's been busy. Saw him Thursday night. He passed through for a few hours.
Do you have a favorite song of his? Can you narrow it down to just one?
78,
150.
He's got
That's
a couple.
Your truck.
Yeah, I know that's got to be one of my favorites. Yeah. But he's got a couple new ones out that I like. But one of the older ones is Shawshank. That's the one.
Yeah.
And to be honest, Aaron went up for a 2-week stint in New England.
Okay.
And Terry and I went with him. We both pulled our teardrop campers up there, and we spent some time in Maine. And the Shawshank prison where the movie was filmed was in Mansfield, Ohio.
Oh.
So we made a little detour and went through there and visited the prison and the surrounding areas and some of the places in town where the movie scenes were shot. So it was a pretty cool stop.
That is awesome.
Well, we had Aaron in the box last year or the year before.
Yeah, he sang the national anthem here, and then he came up.
He told us the story of singing on a train, and you went up to hop on the train.
And they're Simon Emanuel, big run for him.
Explain that. Did he sing a Tom Petty song or something on your behalf on a
train?
Singing
Yeah, there's a like a tourist train that runs from Duluth up toward Two Harbors and back.
Okay.
And it's a pizza train. You pay minimal amount. You get your own little pizza and I think you ride up and then Aaron sings all the way back. I think is the way it worked.
Gotcha.
And he'll do that on purpose.
Dan's a huge Tom Petty fan.
No, not at all. He also has a couple songs that I really don't care for, and he'll make sure he sings those whenever he can too. Yeah.
This one's dedicated to my dad out in the crowd. Pete Cheddar backs up. He's going to try to roll to the left in the pocket. He's going to get taken down there by number 88, Carter West. And it'll be second down and long. Aaron, Drew, both great baseball players. I mean, Drew, we were talking about soccer at halftime. You talk about sometimes all you look for in a goalie is a tall, athletic guy that will be willing to sacrifice himself to go dive after and stop some soccer shots. And Drew Simmons was that. Some of the most successful years, he always gives credit to the defense that was right in front of him. Mm-hmm. But great job by him. And then Aaron, just a ridiculous batting average on the baseball field for, I'm assuming he played for Coach Schmitz. Was that
He did.
He did.
He did. Well, he played for me and Coach Schmitz, both.
Who did he listen to more?
Well, I think you know the answer to that.
Cheddar's throwing a screen pass over the top. It gets to Simon Emanuel, but Cam Thieren is able to bring Emanuel down at the 46-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and a mile. One of my favorite things, I remember I was trying to calculate the down and distance, and I was like, we had gotten a 15-yard penalty, and it was already like 3rd and 17 or something like that, and it was from the spot, and I was like, Dan, what is it going to be now, like 3rd down, and where do they got to get to? And he goes, Racine? So anytime I say that, it's an ode to Dan. Where do they got to get to? Racine? So if you ever hear me say they got to get to Racine, that's a Dan Simmons comment that I stored away in the old memory bank. 3rd down and 18 for Stewartville. 1:44 to go in the third quarter. They're just going to hand that one off to Simon Emanuel. He breaks a few tackles, and he picks up about 9. It's going to be 4th down and 9. We'll see if Stewartville punts this away, or because they're on the Lake City half of the field, will they go for it on 4th down? We got our answer here as a bunch of guys are coming up to try to pin Lake City a little bit deeper as the clock continues to run in the third quarter running time.
Yeah, back in the days when we just burned CDs and then played them later, we could be a little more loose with the things you say because you could always just say, well, we can't put this one on because something happened. You guys are live. It's a little more dangerous.
I can't believe they trust us, Dan.
Yeah.
And there's the punt, kind of an end over end. They got 2 returners back. One of them, number 4, Luke Narum, is going to take this up to the 25-yard line, and a whole bunch of Tigers. Number 18, I'm going to give credit for the tackle, Alex Anderson, it looked like. 40 was also there, who's Caleb Hayden. I know last week Leward was like, gosh, what is, it's not a pack of Tigers. What is it? Does anybody, it's an ambush of Tigers.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
You
that's what a
looked it
group of
up.
Tigers. Yeah, I
Oh.
remember because when I got the opportunity to do the announcing, I wanted to say, head coach for boys basketball, or I didn't want to just say that, so I would just say leading this, and I had to look it up. Leading this ambush of Tigers in his, 7th season, John Severson.
There you go. I like that.
Now I think a top tire salesman, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
So they still have Heggie and B in the backfield. They got all their wide receivers, Braxton, Berlin. We saw them do this against us in our Week 5 matchup where they were bent on trying to score a touchdown on this incredible defense. So they say they were one of them. They scored one late, I think, in the third quarter, if I'm not mistaken. 57-6 was the final, though. I think it was 57-6. 57-7. They got the extra point. Dan, plans for the weekend? Anything?
Oh, just taking care of stuff at home.
Yeah.
We had a middle school dance last night I
Oh.
worked at, and that was pretty successful.
Dan, one of the best DJs you're going to find.
Jeez.
Was the dance floor pretty full?
It was.
Did you keep them going?
It was. Brought out the oldies and the classics.
And a run there, tackle by number 34, Eli Shy. The ball carrier was Luke Narum. I remember I got to go to, where were we in Iowa for the prom that we set up for that you and I?
Oh, Surf Ballroom.
Surf Ballroom, which was the last place that
Buddy Holly.
Buddy Holly,
Oh,
before
yeah.
the plane crash.
Yep.
And so we got to go there. Really cool.
Very cool venue.
Yeah, and it was funny. Dan was running the DJ, and my job was, as students would come up, they would ask for certain songs, and Dan goes, "You can't be careful. Like if we don't know the song, let's look it up to see if it's appropriate." And I remember one time, I won't say, but
You were awfully busy.
Yes, they came up and he told whoever it was told me the name of the song, and I said, okay, like who do I search? Who's the artist? And he said the artist's name, and I immediately go, that's probably going to be a no. just based on the artist's name, I was like, yeah, that's going to be a no. But what a fantastic time that was. Like I said, a lot of my experiences here in Tiger Nation have been due to this guy, Dan Simmons, a legend. I always call him the legend because he is. I mean, if he's not up there already, there is zero doubt in my mind he should be in that Hall of Fame that runs the administrative hallway.
Right.
Him
Yep.
and Terry probably, to be honest with you, for
Yeah,
all that
no.
they've done. You talk about, hey, I can't get into the booth. I need somebody. Dan comes over from his house and is going to let you in.
Yeah.
Or, hey, I got to go get something out of the gymnasium or whatever. Dan's going to be there to help you. How many times? I know Crystal coaching softball, early on as a teacher and stuff. Dan and Terry were always like, and I'm sure it's not just for her. I'm sure a lot of teachers and young people are, looking for help.
I was going to say, you mentioned earlier your brother-in-law's term. Is it a brother-in-law that said
Different.
people are built different?
Yep.
And Dan and Terry would fit that category. And probably athletically back in the day, but
Yeah.
I think in this case, we're talking about always giving, always being selfless, anything they can do to help out.
Dan only missed, I believe, when he and I were together, only missed one broadcast. And it was a homecoming game, and it was because he and Terry were both going into Wadeena's Hall of Fame.
That's right.
Was it your baseball team and her individually?
Her
or
softball team.
Her softball team.
Yeah,
Okay.
they won the state. We got third.
Yep.
She reminds me of that a lot, too, by the way, that they got first and we got third.
What a gal.
I do tell this story, too, and if she's listening, she's going to be mad that I'm telling it again. But
Well, turn it up, Coach Meyer. Turn it up. There's a run by number 5. That's Aaron Liu. They still got him there running the ball. Ready. Story time, Dan. We're ready.
back in our day, they played the softball and baseball tournament at the same time, which was too bad for our high school in Wadena because fans had to pick and choose.
Oh, I remember this story.
And
now.
they both were in St. Cloud, which was good. So people tried to get to both. But, of course, we lost second round, and we played the third place game, and we won. So we got third, and we got home before they did. And we got home to nothing. I mean, we drove to the school. We walked in. We handed in our uniforms, and that was it. And softball, of course, they win the championship. They got home a couple hours later. I think Verndale is about 6 miles down the road. The caravan was lined up there with fire trucks and the works and escorted them in and paraded through town, came to the high school and the big old celebration. And I never let her forget that.
Terry's probably shutting the stream off now. We just tell me if we lose a viewer there,
did,
Aaron.
yeah.
Oh, and for our first thumbs down of the season.
No, we got 3 likes, but we lost 1 viewer and had 3 thumbs ups. I'm just kidding.
Oh, shoot.
Here's the handoff to Asher B. Carson Goodman there to stop him for a loss of about 2 or 3 yards. Carson Goodman had 8 tackles for loss coming into this game. I think he's got 2, so he's hitting double digits here in 2024. Has been a fantastic rotation player for that front line, the Gold Rush. And we also see Carson Jansen out there. Good to see him back and healthy, number 74 on the near side. Tommy Lofgren, a guy that's built like a football player on the far side, also one of your throwers, coach. And then I think 75, Jacob Billings at defensive tackle. Those are your front. Sawyer Wood, Colin McGill. 15 on the far side is Carson Meyer. And we'll get you a few more. I believe Peyton English is a linebacker.
I just got a text from my wife. She is listening.
Oh, no. We're in trouble.
Well, I'm getting texts from some teacher friends, and so Kathy Conger says, "You're the man." Kathy's always listening to us, so blab about the game. So nice to hear.
Kathy's been with us since the beginning,
Right,
too. She
I
was
know.
an early dedicated viewer.
Yep, for sure.
A lot of Congers. We'd always half our viewership, Congers. It seemed
Yeah.
like so a lot of sophomores on the field. The future Tiger football program you're being able to see. 8:37 to go. Stewartville still up 8:34 to go. Stewartville still up 54-0. They've been running essentially running clock the entire second half, which we appreciate.
Yeah, his response to my story, she said, "Wah, wah."
Yeah,
So like I said, she's heard it many times.
that's great.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love telling it as much as she hates hearing it.
Well, we appreciate Terry tuning in and all the other people. Nolan Light on the far side. I don't think I mentioned him. I see he's at the cornerback position. Heggy's still in with all the starters for Lake City. As many of them are seniors, this is probably the last time they'll put on the pads. He throws it up and over the middle. Oh, thank goodness Colin McGill knocked that out of the hands of Josh Wohlers. Also over there, I believe, was Jardot. No, sorry, 26. That was Raider. They're filtering people in. Number 5, Owen Johnson comes onto the field now. Got to talk to his mom, Lisa. Apparently her mom is a big fan of the broadcast. I'm assuming for Coach Meyer being on. And so give them a shout out because it's always nice to hear compliments. I'm sure, Dan, we never got any bad reviews, right?
If we did, we didn't read them.
Haggy under center pitches to Lou on the far side. Finds a hole, and he gets dragged down by 26 Raider.
That's why they invented that delete button on your phone.
I remember we used to make up words too, Dan. Well, you did more than I did. Unguardable. Was that one of them in basketball? Unguardable. I think that's a word, though. I don't know.
It sounds like it would be.
Sounds like. If only there were an English teacher in the booth.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to think if that was a word.
So trips right, Heggy under center. Lou behind him as they're going to try to put one on the board just for good measure.
Do you have any moments where you're like, because I go home and I don't rewatch the broadcast. Maybe I should just see how I'm doing and see how I can get better. But I do think about things that I said that I'm like, what was that?
Oh, yeah.
And I know last week the one was I said that Zeke has heavier bones than other people.
Heavier bones.
He's just built. He's just thicker and has denser bones than the rest. But I was like, what is that? But do you have certain things that you remember?
Not
Like what was I
specifics,
thinking?
but-
Okay, well, just
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing was I got home and I got a text from one of our viewers, Bernie, melorhiostosis. It's actually a number of diseases that cause bones to thicken or something. He sent like a Wikipedia or something. So you're not wrong.
so maybe I did know.
There's a handoff to Lou on the outside. Oh, great tackle there by Sawyer Wood, the senior.
Well, so if I could have worked that into the call and be like, there
Yeah,
goes
oh,
Zeke,
could
he
you
has
imagine?
melorhostiosis.
Oh, yeah. Could you imagine? That would have been better than the Emancipation Proclamation.
Yeah, well, that was pretty tough to beat, but
I always wondered if Dan would reach over and turn my mic down ever. Yeah. I saw you weren't on the broadcast the other night. How come? What? I was here the whole time. Dan, you're probably too busy. Do you ever get a chance to watch the broadcasts? Or
I watch almost every week.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, I'm a half a block away, and sometimes I just can't get over here.
Big tackle there by, is it 55? It is. Ethan Monty, the junior, stops him in his tracks.
Yeah, today I left the house. The national anthem was playing, and I stopped to talk to a couple people outside the gate. Before I even walked inside the fence, it was 14-0.
Oh, yeah.
So that's,
yes.
you know.
3 plays.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, if anybody asks, and nobody, I don't know if they will, but I always say 8.2 billion people in the world, and I got 2 of the best partners to be in this broadcast booth. Obviously, Dan to start, and now Aaron Meyer brings the calm to my storm for sure. And I just feel very fortunate to have the partners that I have up here put up with me. Not easy. Gets loud in those headsets.
It's pretty easy. Don't have to say much. Just chime in when needed.
Well, that's the other thing that I think I appreciate most about Aaron, and it's something that Dan taught me because I have no background in radio, TV, anything. I just came up here and wing it, and so everything has been under the tutelage of Dan, and I think what makes our broadcast, what I appreciate most about it, and something that Dan taught me is, hey, listen, we want one person to like be doing the play-by-play, and then we want the other person to come in and help give the color. If you start to confuse people by jumping back and forth, it's tough for the audience, and it makes complete sense. And now that I have you here, who's, like I always say, you've forgotten more about football than I know, it kind of lets me call the plays and then step aside and let you tell everybody what the heck just happened. And that kind of comes from Dan. And so when I had found you, to step in when Dan retired, I was like, this is kind of what Dan envisions for a broadcast, is making sure that we have kind of the 2 people that mesh together so well. So big thanks to Dan for teaching me essentially everything I know about this. It is 3:24 to go in the 4th quarter. Running clock. And they stopped the clock because we have a Stewartville player down with an injury.
I do remember a couple of instances where, like you mentioned, I was doing play-by-play, but at the same time trying to run all this equipment and plugging in stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
All of a sudden something would go down. I would just look at you and give you the, keep talking.
Yeah.
And I go to the closet or
Yeah.
I'm doing whatever, or maybe I ran to the bathroom. I don't know.
I had to do that to Aaron just before my papers all blew off the table from a gust of wind, and I was like, I got to go pick those up. I felt lost, and so it's like, hey, keep going.
Oh, you memorize all that stuff anyway,
Yeah,
don't you?
usually.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I remember the one time we were testing the live broadcast for the first time. Remember, I was at a volleyball game, and you said, hey, come up here. We'll do like a 1-minute preview of the game tomorrow night just to make sure it streams live. And I walk up here with nothing in my hand. Oh, big hit by Tommy Lofgren, and the ball's loose. Does Stewartville get it? It doesn't matter. It was 4th down, Coach. Boy, did Tommy Lofgren just plant him into the ground.
He came off the edge, stayed flat, put his shoulder pad right into the back of the quarterback and got the ball out as well.
And
Perfectly done.
I came up here and you kind of, maybe we'll talk a little bit about something that we'll see tomorrow. And I had already prepped and I started throwing out numbers. And Dan was like looking around like, where is he reading this off
You
of?
were pulling names and stats and
I forgot to
stuff
tell him
from the week before. And
I
holy
still
buckets.
remember what it says on the back of an Aquafina bottle in high school, my sophomore year, that I read in foods class. So sometimes things just stick in my head.
It is the thing that people don't know, that Adam puts in so much time. He's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 sheets of paper
don't
here.
Look at all this.
Too many note cards. The amount of time he puts in to prep for each game is insane.
The funny thing is, a lot of times I don't look down anymore. I think just the process of putting it together starts to. Oh, helmet comes off. We got players getting pushed over. The old tabletop. Yeah, I think one of the biggest reasons that I put so much effort into it, especially when Dan was here and now him kind of handing over the broadcast to you and me, is that, you never want to disappoint him. Like, he put a lot of faith and, kind of blind faith, like you said, never even met me that first time, and then let me kind of come up and eventually grow a voice that I felt, wanted to channel my energy, the passion. And so I was like, I just never want to let him down. I don't want to not have something to say or help him out because he did so much other stuff.
Don't worry, Adam. Energy has never been an issue for you.
Yeah. And the one thing we missed the most in this broadcast, let's just clarify, is Dan's food. Halftime food. Were you going to guess that?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
yes.
The spreads that Dan used to put out here, just phenomenal. Well, and then the coaches from upstairs would smell it because it would all rise up.
Yeah. After a while, they wouldn't go down with the team at half. They'd just hang around here waiting for a slice of pizza or a hot dog or whatever. But, yeah, that all came from that state game at Farmington.
That's right.
The spread they put out, man.
You won that game, Coach, just to let you know. I've brought a lot of bad memories
I was there.
but you won that game.
That was a fun one.
Jai Stecker, the interceptions.
Yeah.
That's the ones
Yeah.
I got to call that a few times. I got lucky with him. It's about time for a Stecker interception, then he'd do it,
Yeah.
Run off the edge to Alex Anderson, and that might be the last play. 30 seconds to go. And the score that was halftime is going to be the score at the end of the game as the donut stays on the board. The Gold Rush tells Darlin Bakery to preheat the ovens as the Tigers of Stewartville are going to head to the section championship for the third straight year. Coach, they are looking top-notch. That first half, they couldn't have played better. Peaking at the right time, don't you think?
I just can't say how impressed I am with the improvements that we've seen throughout the season. It's not like they weren't sharp early on, but just at this point, the Stewartville Tigers are not a team that anybody is going to be wanting to run into. I'm guessing Pine Island held on to.
That's what I was just going to pull up here. It was 20-7 the last time I looked. 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. So I would imagine Pine Island.
But yeah, regardless if it's Pine Island or Rochester Lourdes, it's just those two teams are going to have their hands full, getting ready for for an amazing offense, tough as nails defense, and we know the special teams is, they don't get to shine as much as the other two parts of the phases of the game, but it's strong as well. So yeah, they look awesome.
Dan, you've seen a lot of good teams come through Stewartville. 2014, 2015, back-to-back section champions, coached by Aaron Meyer. Now we got a team going to their third straight section championship. What are your thoughts? What jumps out of the TV to you when you're watching?
The main thing I think you can compare both sets of teams from both eras is that there's so many key players, and at any given nights anybody can step up.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing with this team. And back then too, it was just anybody's night.
Yeah.
And if somebody was down, there's always somebody else to pick them up.
Yep. You talk about Stecker, Scruggs at the wide receiver position. Garrett Nosbish was there. Then you talk about your two running backs, Jordan Johnson, Brandon Hoth. Hoth goes down. We called probably one of my favorite games that we've ever called, Dan, Winona in the section championship, where Jordan Johnson had like 34 carries.
Whatever
yeah,
it
it's
was,
just incredible. I remember how exhausted he was walking off the field, and then we got to go back to state. It's been a lot of fun up here in the Dan Simmons broadcast booth, and a lot of good memories, and it's all provided by the incredible football program, Aaron Meyer, that you kind of built up, and then Garrett Muller took the baton and kept going, and we are going to return for a section championship game. That will be at RCTC. It will be next Friday. And I'm assuming if the score holds the same these last 2 minutes, it will be against Pine Island, which is a homecoming rematch, 19-0 win by Stewartville. But Pine Island, very good defense, some quality players. We're going to have to come play our best 60 minutes, sorry.
Yeah, it'll be a good matchup. It's certainly probably the toughest team besides Waseca that we saw over the course of the regular season. So Pine Island's they're going to bring their best for sure. I don't know that I can remember them ever making it to state. So for them, it's going to be probably the biggest game in their program's history and for quite a while. So they'll be ready. And I can assure you the Stewartville Tigers will be ready as well.
Well, for one more time here in the real Tiger Nation, Stewartville at Schaefer Field. It was Stewartville 54-0. This is our last broadcast of 2024 for the football season, and completing my 10th year, a journey that started with one guy in the booth and is going along with another guy in the booth, Can't thank Dan Simmons enough for all he's done for us, my family, the broadcast here in Stewartville, and all the people that, even if it's not the broadcast, the school, the community, not a better family in Stewartville than the Simmons family. So big thanks to Dan. Aaron Meyer, thank you for coming up here. What did we do? 6 games together, giving up your Friday nights or maybe Saturday afternoons. I know the girls are important to you, spending time away from them. I couldn't ask for 2 better broadcast partners over the last 10 years, and hopefully it'll continue in the future. You never know. You never know from one season to the next what's going to happen with broadcast, what's going to happen with streaming and everything like that. And so I take each game and appreciate each one of them. So to both of you, I want to say a big thank you, obviously. You guys got anything to say before we end it?
Well, thank you too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, Adam puts in so much time and effort to get everybody ready and kind of make it easy for me and anybody else that steps in the booth. So appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. And one more time from Stewartville Tigers win this one, going to the section championship 54-0. For everybody tuning in, we appreciate your support all season long and hope to catch you at the game next Friday. And Dan, if you're still listening, I hope we made you proud.